I just have one thing to say. Hang on here.
It's really simple.
The man some fucking
Breakfast
soup, bitch!
This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause it feels so empty without
breakfast
Soup!
breakfast
Soup!
breakfast
Soup!
I tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation. Thank you.
All right, it is Monday night, September 28th, 2020. I am back. This is Breakfast Soup Raw. I know you're probably saying, wait a minute, only one side is lit. If you're solo, then why is it still Breakfast Soup Raw? Why not just do the Don Tony show? Well, believe it or not, someone is here, but only on audio. Joining along with me is
Anthony Missionary Thomas. And first off, I'd like to apologize to people that were expecting me. Because my video was working, it's just not working with you tonight. It's not working with YouTube.
Yeah, it's all right. Now, I know the instigators out there are going to immediately say, wait a minute. Whoa. If we could do this setup, then why couldn't I do a different show with this setup? The fact is, everybody, Mish was connected with his camera a few moments ago, and on Mish's side, it says his camera is connected. But for some reason, there's something blocking his end. So he is connected to my program, and as far as we could see, he could see me, but I can't see him. So if I do this, he can see that.
There was a very big Microsoft update, and it's really weird, too, because I'm going to throw up proof right now on my Twitter.
It's all good. Yeah, look, we don't have that much to get into today. We got Raw discussion. You did a Clash of Champions recap. I did a Clash of Champions recap. So really all we have to talk about with that is the fallout from it. But before we go any further, I just wanted to give a shout out to a friend of mine who is in the heavens. You all knew him as the ECW Zombie, and I'm wearing tonight, in tribute, this is the Black Hearts Hotline shirt that we had 20 years ago. Don't call a number, but yeah, we were the four horsemen of the wrestling hotlines 20 years ago. It's amazing that many years have gone by. I don't know if Mad Zombie is still with us. I hope that he is. Brian Damage is doing fine, but Timmy Austin, unfortunately, taken way too soon. So just wanted to pay a little tribute tonight. Yeah, Timmy Austin, really good guy. Us four, 20 years ago doing this, we tore that summer up. I mean, just had so much fun back then. But, hey, we have fun tonight. And, I know you and I didn't talk about Clash of Champions yesterday, but
we did do a predictions together, and I stuck pretty true to my predictions when Thursday came around, with the exception of one match, which I called for more Sami Zayn than AJ Styles, which I ended up being right with. But that's really the only match difference that I had from when me and you talked about it.
Exactly. I tell you the truth. I really liked this pay-per-view yesterday. It opened hot. It closed hot. The middle, there were some moments here and there that were less to be desired. But for COVID-era content, I thought they did a phenomenal job. I really do. Now, as far as Angel Garza goes, there's no update as far as what he actually injured. Last night, a lot of reports going around was that it was either a hip or it was a torn quad. And, I had a broken hip. So I know what it feels like to have a broken and a dislocated hip.
Did he grab the back of his thigh?
What happened?
Didn't he grab the back of his thigh?
Right. Well, that's the thing. He grabbed the back of his thigh, and he wouldn't even put his leg on the mat. You know, so you think about injuries like that. I'd be shocked if it's something with the hip. It's got to be either he blew out his knee or maybe he did, in fact, tear his quad. But, you know, people, as soon as I hear quad, I always think back to Triple H. Right. You know, that tag match that he had that time when he tore his quad, he was out for a long period of time. And Angel Garza is going to be out for a while. You know, Andrade, you know, good for him. He came out tonight, cut a promo, you know, exactly what we predicted last week. Right. Zelina, we don't need you. We're better without you. I sound Chinese more than Spanish. Yeah, but yeah, but he lost to Keith Lee pretty substantially. So I don't even know. I tell you the truth, man. This draft, which, you know, we talked about it. Well, I talked about it yesterday, but the draft officially next week, we have Raw. Well, actually, no, it's 2 weeks from now as far as Raw. Raw is October 12th, but the draft actually begins on Friday Night SmackDown a week from this Friday. So next Friday is the draft. I could almost guarantee you that Andrade will probably get drafted over to SmackDown. There's not really much for him to do on Raw. I mean, honestly, I almost feel like Andrade might be better suited to go back to NXT.
He is kind of lulling in the doldrums there. I mean, with you know what, though? The good thing about the draft coming up, whether people enjoy it or don't enjoy it anymore. You know, I know the pomp and circumstance has been gone from the draft for a while. I mean, it's not as bad as Vince just coming out and telling everybody where they're going. But it gives new opportunities, new changes. We're going to see people brought up from NXT during the draft. And who knows, maybe we will see people like Andrade go down to NXT.
Yes.
And I hate saying up and down like NXT is an inferior product, because it really isn't. But a guy like Andrade in NXT would be okay. I mean, what are they going to do? Put him on 205 Live?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I tell you the truth, it's not a bad idea. And you know what? I actually was going to mess around with the system now and actually put my face on both boxes. You know what? It may actually work. I've never tried this before. Oh, this will piss off the haters if I could do this. So everyone out there, if you don't hear him for like 5 seconds, no worries. I still have him connected. But I'm going to do a little swap here. I'm going to put Mish in this box, and then I'm going to put me in this box, and I see nothing. Okay, so that's not going to work. All right, so let's take this out. Oh, there we go. So you know what, Mish? On the count of 3, I want you to say, Don Tony is awesome. Are you there? Oh, wait. Oh, no, don't tell me. Hold on. Maybe I could put him over here. Hold on. Oh, I can't do that. That sucks. If I put, you know what it is? Okay. All right. Hey, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. It's like a catch-22. I could put myself on the other box, but then you disappear. So, because no, I wanted to be like a ventriloquist. I was going to have you talk, and I was going to be like, we tried. It's all good. Good. But you know, Andrade, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm a little concerned. I'm trying to think who he could pair up with. I know some people are going to have this crazy idea. Oh, maybe they could do something with Charlotte on camera. I do not want to see their relationship on camera. We saw how much that ruined Seth Rollins with Becky Lynch last year. The man with the man.
You know the difference, though? Charlotte's kind of had a troubled history with men. I don't think that they would put her relationships on screen. I don't know. WWE might go ahead and do something like that. But Charlotte's a little different than Becky and Seth. You know what I mean? I just can't see them doing it. And if they do it, it's going to be very light. It's not going to be. I don't know. I think they have more of a respect for what she's been through than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, well, we will see.
Like Paige's relationships on air now. I mean, could you imagine how uncomfortable that would be to see Paige in a relationship on WWE right now for people?
I don't mean to laugh. If you had your echo on right now, it sounds like your voice is so powerful. You sound like God coming from the heavens.
See, that's crazy. This update is crazy, DT. I'm sorry, man.
It's all right. We're having fun tonight. I mean, it's been a crazy week. Listen, I'm opening up a box live on the show. I was thinking to give away like an autographed rookie card of Paige, but then I looked on eBay and you could sell it for $200 right now. So I thought, that's kind of a little expensive. Then I thought about an AJ Lee signed card, a Nia Jax Kiss card, but they all go for $150 a pop. So I decided, let's give away a brand new bobblehead tonight. Something that we've never done before, and I actually took this screenshot myself. Did you see the latest? I think I know the answer to this. Did you see the latest video of a shot with Brandy featuring Tony Khan?
No, I was sent the video, but I have not sat down and perused its content yet.
Well, what I did tonight, all right, let's get this a little more organized so we can actually get some good discussion going. What I did tonight was I actually took a screenshot from that conversation, and this is an actual screenshot from there. So I decided to do, after this screenshot, I figured let's do a little caption this tonight. Now, obviously, not everybody has Photoshop and could actually put text on the screen, but in the comment section for tonight's episode, all you have to do is put a quote for Brandy and a quote for Tony Khan, and whoever gets the most likes for their caption this of this picture, you get yourself the bobblehead. And if you want an example of what caption this looks like, I will contribute the first entry, and this is my entry. You see, if you look at Brandy, she looks all upset, and I put that the test came back blue, and you see Tony Khan with the Street Profits cup in his hand, and he's laughing because he's got the smoke. So that's what caption this is like. So all you got to do is take that picture and caption it, and everyone out there, you're all in on it as well. You know, hit the like for whoever's caption you like the most, and whoever gets the most votes by the end of the week will give him, he or she, a bobblehead. So did you see the text message conversation that they did on Raw? Mish, wasn't it you and I 2 weeks ago that said they're going to do a Romeo and Juliet storyline with Aaliyah and Murphy? And, and how many people were like, what are you guys, nuts?
Yeah,
You're not going to do no romance. Did you see what happened tonight?
What happened tonight there, DT?
Seth Rollins, Murphy. Who was the idiot not too long ago there was another segment on WWE television not too long ago where somebody left their phone somewhere. Does anybody remember who it was? I don't think it was Lashley. Somebody else.
It wasn't Lashley and Lana?
Was it Lashley and Lana when they left their...
Mandy Rose and...
Sonya Deville. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, you see, if I was Seth Rollins in this storyline, I would not have put it on Raw. I just would have went on the phone and say, listen, you bitch, don't text me anymore. Or I would have just wrote, this is Murphy's wife. Don't you dare text my husband anymore. And that would have been it. End of storyline. Could have done the Sonya Deville route, but no. Seth Rollins decides to put the text messages on the screen, and we see this is from Aaliyah's phone, and she's having this romantic conversation. It's not really romantic, but it kind of is. And everybody out there that said to us, you guys are nuts with the Romeo and Juliet storyline, so that's what I have to say. But that is what they showed us on the screen today. But I have an exclusive, Mish. I have an exclusive. Yeah. If you see it, Murphy is like, hey, you could see what I see, right?
Yeah, no, perfect.
All right. So I want you for a minute to be Aaliyah. Let's take this text and let's actually put it to voice. And then I'm going to reveal what was not shown on Raw tonight. There was some additional conversation here that did not make TV. I wonder why. But I'll be Murphy, and you be Aaliyah, and let's reenact this, okay? So if this was us having a conversation, I'd be like, hey, I just wanted to apologize again.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing okay.
I'm fine. It's
what are you taking a shit? I get it, but if you want to talk about it, I'm here.
I might just take you up on that offer. By the way, happy birthday.
Well, that's where the conversation cut off on the air today. But I got somebody who works in the back of WWE who stole the phone from Seth Rollins, who stole the phone from Murphy. And here is the remainder of the conversation that you did not see tonight on Raw. Oh, wait. We got to put it bigger. You see, happy birthday. And then Murphy actually asked her, what school did you go to? Yup. And she's like, huh? And there you see, if you look very, very close, I obviously have to zoom in for it. Yeah, why is this not working?
Oh, no, we see it.
I wanted to zoom in on it. For some reason, it's not letting me zoom in. But, you could see in the lower right-hand corner, I put a little Photoshop of Velveteen Dream with the troll face. And, for some reason, it's not letting me change the size of it. But, so there you go. That is the conversation that you did not see tonight. What school did you go to? Yup. That's all right. I had a few minutes to kill today. I figured, why not? Let's have a little bit of fun. I am still on the side of Velveteen Dream until I see proof and I see more evidence. Again, to this day, I'm not bringing it up again, but I will say, if he did the things that the victims are saying that he did, why are they not filing cyber complaints? Why are they not going to investigators? Why are they not sending it out for people to? Because they don't want ever the conclusion that they found nothing. So if I'm a victim, I go right to the cops or investigators. Let them do everything. That's their job. You don't pay for it. Somebody gets cyber, bullied or sexting or unsolicited stuff, you file a complaint. It's not, please send $49.95 and a check made out to blah, 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 blah. Victims are us, No, it doesn't cost nothing. So these people are all victims, but yet, why aren't they taking it to the next level? Yup. I don't get it. But anyway. So, want to talk a little bit about Raw tonight?
Sure, let's go for it.
Yeah, so Monday Night Raw tonight. Woo! I tell you, you look at the matches on paper without the actual times of the matches, it looks like a loaded show. We had like 8-9 matches tonight. The problem is 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. We had one that was 8 minutes. Robert Roode makes his return. And not only does he make his return, we got a rematch from NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. People might forget, I think it was August 2017, where Drew McIntyre took on the NXT Heavyweight Champion Robert Roode and defeated Robert Roode to become the NXT Champion. So this is a pretty big match tonight. And I got news for you. If anyone out there that's never seen the NXT match between McIntyre and Roode, it goes, if I remember correctly, like 20-25 minutes. They actually put on a pretty damn good match. So we didn't get that type of a match tonight. We got it more on the Raw standards, but you happy to see Robert Roode back?
Not really. Robert Roode's shine came off of him a while ago. I'm kind of hoping that something gets changed, but I don't know. I mean, other than his entrance for the longest time, he wasn't giving us much. And I'm not necessarily sure if it was just pretty much the direction of him being on TV or he just didn't care. But Robert Roode really kind of fell off for a bit there, and his return was very lukewarm at best.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's funny? I mean, I'm a fan of Adam Pearce. I think the Postman Pearce character for the Wyatt compound or the Firefly Funhouse, I think that could have been comedy gold. I don't understand it with WWE, especially SmackDown and the audience that they're targeting. You would think that they would have more of Abyss, as Joseph Clark. I mean, doing like real big time comedy stuff on SmackDown, or even Postman Pearce showing up at the Firefly Funhouse once in a while. But I tell you, if we had live fans in attendance, number one, do you think Adam Pearce would get any reaction whatsoever from the live?
I really don't.
Would he have music?
Huh?
Would he have music? Like every time he came out there, there would be like, like just music to announce his arrival to TV.
You know what? I think you're right. I think WWE would do that, but I think it wouldn't be helpful at all. Like, not everybody's music is beneficial to them. I mean, look at just recently with everybody freaking out about Keith's music, about Keith Lee's music,
Oh, we got another one tonight.
Yeah.
Welcome, Alistair Black.
Yeah.
Why'd they change his music?
I don't know, dude. I
don't
it's
get
because
it.
they're trying to push him. I think they're trying to re-push him. I think this feud with him and Kevin Owens is supposed to kind of be a rebranding for Aleister Black. Don't you kind of get that feeling that they're trying to give him a push now?
Yeah, but Wad, listen, dude, I'm sorry for those on audio only, but I appreciate the super chats coming in, but I can't post those. Spending money just to post derogatory words. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Seriously. I know you're a friend of the show, but I wouldn't go there. Seriously. Definitely would not want to, but I will say this to SO8 not so great, 808 not so great. Yeah, I'll take that $1.17. Thank you. I think 808 used to be a drum machine. Anybody that's old like me, didn't they have a drum machine in the 80s that was an 808? Or am I thinking of something else? I think it was an 808 drum machine back then.
I think you're thinking of a chord, right?
No, I think there was a drum machine. It was like an 808. It was an 8 something. I know that for a fact because my buddy Joey Beltram, who I haven't talked to in ages, who made it as a famous DJ. Yeah, 808 was a drum machine. Absolutely, I remember that. But he has it because 808, I think, is the area code for Hawaii. So, but shout out to him. But getting back to Aleister Black, I know I have said it a few times on my shows over the last couple of years, and I have a feeling a lot of people out there are going to say the same thing I'm about to say, and I don't know how you feel, but Aleister Black's music might be in my top 3 of my favorite current WWE entrance themes. Is it possible that maybe they had some type of contractual issue? Was this the CFO stuff? Did they make this theme?
I don't know. I don't know who made the newest one. I mean, honestly, it doesn't even sound familiar.
No, it doesn't. The new song sounds like a CFO crap.
Yeah, right.
I don't. Yeah, a few people are saying that CFO did not make the original Aleister Black theme.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't know why they changed it. His theme, he doesn't have to like creep up. Just wasting money. To be honest with you, but that's. I'm not gonna say it again. But the Aleister Black music was horrible today. I honestly think. My initial reaction, I had more of a negative reaction to the change of Aleister Black's music than Keith Lee's music. I know I know Keith Lee's music in NXT was awesome. You know, it was almost like Nakamura's theme. When Nakamura had the original theme in the crowd, like it's a theme that you could hum to or sing to. Keith Lee's music is a type of song that the entire arena wants to do. It's like right now, like Judas, Chris Jericho's song. That song everybody loves. It's like changing that song, and this one now, I don't see Aleister Black's. You really couldn't hum to or anything like that, but Keith Lee's people love to sing it. So
right.
It
makes more sense with Aleister Black too, because it is the setting for his entire character, the music, the entrance. It really does give you an idea of who you're dealing with before he even gets into the ring.
Yeah. Sounds like it's like a song for a magician. Welcome, Aleister Black. I'm like, why would you do that? I don't understand unless they're, maybe we'll find out that Retribution did that. Maybe Retribution snuck in like crappy entrance theme music just to screw around with, because remember, my scenario is Survivor Series, Team WWE versus Team Absolutely 0 cents to give contracts to people who want to sabotage your company. I agree. On the surface, that is dumb. How they could have resolved that was simply, like somebody, maybe Vince is too old to do this now, but somebody in the back, that I want to see chaos. I want to see competition. I want to see anarchy. You know what I mean? Like, if you see like people beating the crap out of each other, like, that's good, but they didn't have anybody in the back that's like, this will challenge some people. I mean, they're the creative ones to figure it out, but they didn't even do that unless Shane McMahon ends up being revealed. Now, I know some people are immediately, because remember, week 1 or week 2 really is when I started noticing it, but since week 2 of Retribution showing up and Raw Underground debuting, Retribution showed up at the very same time as Raw Underground. I've been saying that since week 2. Right. And I know people tonight, oh my God, no Retribution, no Raw Underground. You think that no, it's simple. COVID-19. The thing with Retribution, which is very odd to me, is this.
But before you go down this hole, do you really think that that's what it is? Because on the same hand, WWE on Fox and a few other places tried to pin Shayna and Nia as the reason that their match didn't happen for COVID-19, and they both responded with that was completely false.
Well,
so I mean, is it really an outbreak going on right there, or is it something else?
This is the thing, and I actually had said this yesterday.
Okay.
We didn't know yesterday exactly what was going on, but one thing that I did say is it is very possible that they might have been around somebody who was COVID positive, and as a precaution, they put them in, I said sequestered to, wherever they're staying and quarantine for a little while. So I said yesterday, before anybody immediately thinks that Shayna has it, or Nia has it, or Nikki Cross, maybe they were around someone that got it. And as a precaution, because remember, and I've brought this up so many times over the last 6-7 months, when you end up being around someone who ends up having COVID, it takes a few days for it to start brewing in your system. If somebody who has COVID coughs in your face and you breathe it in, you don't go to the doctor 5 minutes later and test me and then you got COVID. It takes a little while to get into your system and start causing chaos. So this 2-week thing, I think these are people mixing two things up. I'll tell you why I say this. If I had a customer who caught COVID about 3 months ago, and I found out about a week after the customer was in my office, I went and I got a test done. This was a week after I saw the customer, and I was fine. The thing is, it doesn't take 15 days to go in your system.
Right.
I think the reason why people are stuck with this 15-day or 14-day time period is because in case you have it, it takes 15 days normally to get out of your system. You know what I mean? If you remember Jon Moxley, Renee Young, she got COVID, and Jon Moxley did not. But as a precaution, they kept him off of 2 weeks' worth of shows just in case. So if the virus shows up 9 days from now,
right,
it's you understand what I'm saying? So I think that's why everybody's using this 14, 15-day time period. But that's very reckless, because if you were around someone who now has it, and a week later, 10 days later, you're still negative for COVID, all right, you almost guaranteed you don't have it. So right. WWE, and let me explain why I think this is a little bit more of a mess than people think. You have every member of Retribution in quarantine right now. Now, I have a feeling we're going to find out that not everybody in Retribution, now I'm not talking about the 39 people with ski masks on them, we're only focusing on the 5. Dijakovic, Madden, Thorne, Mercedes Martinez, Mia Yim.
Right.
I have a feeling we're going to find out later that not all 5 were around the same person who caught COVID. I think what could happen is maybe 2 or 3 of them might have been around that person, but they're not going to put just 1 or 2 members on TV right now. I have a feeling that could end up being a scenario, since maybe more than one of them was around someone. They just decide, we're going to leave the whole entire group off for the next 5 days, 15 days, which it doesn't make sense. But here's the thing, too.
Well, do you think the draft has something to do with it? I mean, I know we're kind of looking at the storyline future of things, but do you think that the fact that the draft is literally right around the corner for everybody, do you think that they're kind of resetting some of these storylines and going in a different direction? Because, I mean, let's face facts here. The draft is a lot more pivotal as far as WWE goes than pretty much everything except WrestleMania. I mean, as far as the direction of things. So, I mean, who knows? What happens if Retribution ends up on SmackDown?
Right. No, I don't see. If you remember, I called this over a month ago when there was that first week when they got the TV 14. Everybody was saying, Ron picked up Alexa Bliss, was going to chokeslam her or whatever he was going to do. And I said, WWE got the TV 14 because Fox does not want an Antifa group on their show. They don't want people portraying it because, people do, there's chaos going on in the world with anarchists and Antifa is not the only group, obviously. They're on both sides. But the thing is, Fox gave them the TV 14 warning and said, we don't want Retribution on SmackDown again. And ever since then, Retribution has not been on SmackDown at all. What I think will happen is that once this no longer looks like an Antifa group and just, a bunch of people wearing dark outfits, then you'll see them on SmackDown again.
I got you.
You understand what I'm saying? So,
So once it's a little bit more established as wrestlers as opposed to being an outside group, you might see them in more traditional feuds as opposed to hit and runs, which is what they're doing now. Right.
Now, here's the thing, too. We got no Cedric Alexander tonight. And if you heard MVP's promo about, it almost sounded like a parent putting someone in timeout. Like, it was just a really lame, and it's not his fault. This is WWE, right? It's a really lame reason, because of what happened last week. It's just really lame. So now you start speculating, okay, maybe he's got COVID. But here's the thing. Last week, we had Retribution versus the Hurt Business. So if Retribution was around someone who got COVID, Hurt Business was around Retribution. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think after, I know it's a storyline, but I don't think after Retribution had their match last week, I don't think that they left the building and went to their own private locker rooms. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to have been around the roster between last Monday and a couple of days ago when WWE decided, no, we got to put them in quarantine for 15 days. It's very, very strange to see that the Hurt Business is on TV after just going at it with Retribution, and then you hear rumblings about Cedric.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, this 15-day thing doesn't make a lot of sense when you actually start dissecting it down.
Well, that's why I was thinking that maybe it had something to do with the draft, but no, you're right. It makes more sense because that's the exact same amount of days that they need to clean up. So
yeah, and not only that, the restaurants and the bar bans in Florida are all lifted now. My parents are leaving for Florida in 2 days. You saw the picture earlier. Actually, I actually took the picture with me here. There's a picture of my bird. I'm bird sitting for the next 3 weeks. He's in the other room right now sleeping. And I surprised him today. I bought him meatballs, and I made some meat.
Political, are you okay with that?
What?
Are you okay with folks going down to Florida?
Oh, yeah, and you look, and I've brought this up many times before. I decided in March, if you remember, I said on the shows clearly that I'm not turning my life upside down in turmoil and getting paranoid.
It's one thing to say it about yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, your folks are a different story.
Well,
you always want more for your folks than you do for yourself.
Well, here's the thing. My parents are going to an area in Florida that has very low infection rate.
Okay.
They're also not going to be going to tiki bars. They're not going to be hanging out on the beach with strangers. They're not going to be going to Target or Walmart. They're not going to be going to, areas where there's an elevated risk. They have masks. They sanitize all the time. They're going to stay. My point is this, and this is what I talked about last Friday on Friday's show. Everyone out there that's tuning in right now, I'm not saying friends, family, workers, relatives. I'm talking about just the viewers and the listeners right now. How many people tuning in right now caught COVID themselves? And on Friday's show, there was about 1,200 people live, and only 2 said that they caught it. And one of the 2, his son works for in a hospital, or his kid was a nurse. So there's an elevated risk right there. But my point is that all of us, 99% of everybody checking out this show, including you and I, we haven't caught COVID because we've been careful. We've been wearing masks for the most part.
Dude, I've had 2 scares already, man. I've had 2 scares. I told you that story about the... Did I ever tell you that story about the second time I had to go for the COVID test?
No.
I was in line. We were at Target, right? No. It was Aldi. We were at Aldi, and there was a guy in front of me that was actually, he was going through the thing, putting up the groceries and stuff like that. And he was done with his shield, and I was loading my stuff up. And he turns his head from the cashier really fast to sneeze. And he turns in my direction, and he sneezes, DT, with such force that his mask comes off, and I get snot on my chin and my neck and by my eye from the sneeze.
COVID or not, that's gross, man. I wouldn't even get blown in somebody doing that. Oh,
it was gross. And he was an older guy, so it wasn't like some just asshole teenager or something like that. He looked like he was in his 60s, but he sneezed so hard. And he had one of those disposable masks, which we know 90% of those are just crap. They just disintegrate. And it literally disintegrated while he was in mid-sneeze, and it got all over my face, my eyes, my neck.
The eyes, the ears.
Oh, dude, it was all over the outside of my mask. If I wasn't wearing a mask, I would have gotten his snot right in my mouth.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that was my second scare. That was when I went back to the...
But you were clear. That's...
Yeah, no, I was, but I mean, I was terrified because you had a guy who's completely
sure,
up
of course,
in the middle of COVID at an Aldi of all places, and then he fucking snots on you,
Yeah, my point is that you take precautions. You know, yeah, there could be a real extreme circumstance, like you just said. That's close to as extreme as it gets. But, you know, as long as you take precautions and you really protect yourself, you know, the chances of you getting it is almost none. I mean, honestly, you know, we already had that discussion on Patreon last week. That yes, we had 200,000 people die, and 40% of them were from nursing homes. But, you know, every death, if you had COVID, even if the COVID didn't knock you off, if you had COVID in your system, it's been calculated as a COVID death, and that's been happening everywhere. But, you know, they're going to Florida, and they're going to be extremely careful. And they're going for 15 days. And the reason why they're staying for 15 days is because they're coming from New York. And even though New York is low area, they're going to technically quarantine for 15 days. But they're not quarantined. They're just going to go out and about and just be very careful about it. My point is this. They're living their life. And I've been telling everybody out there as well, live your life. Just be careful about it.
Right, but I mean, like I was.
You got to be cautious. You got to be careful.
Right, I wasn't even trying to go down this rabbit hole. I was just saying. I mean, were you worried at all because your folks?
Oh, I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Not necessarily because your folks aren't cleaning themselves, you know, taking care of themselves, but that doesn't mean everybody else around them is hygienic or taking this seriously. You know what I mean? Like that's the part that always gets me. It's people like, oh, well, I sanitize my hands and I wear my mask and I wear a glove, and when I go outside, I stay 6 feet apart from everybody. But yeah, what happens with the mail carrier who runs up to you and sneezes on you? You know, what happens?
I usually
somebody turns around and sneezes on you. You know?
Yeah, but you know what? That's why I usually don't put myself in a position where I'm up in the face of my mail carriers or UPS or delivery people. Like, we keep a distance away. And, you know, I have yet, thank God, I have yet to have anybody go anywhere close to me that sneezed. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm obviously cautious for them, but I've been concerned about them since March, you know, because my mom goes to a lot of doctors for a heart condition. They go to pharmacies.
I know. That's why I was worried. That's why I was saying, aren't you worried? Because me and you talk off the line, and I know that you're going through some health issues.
But yeah, I can't get bogged down over it. Can't get bogged down.
Enough.
But you know, so like I said, I'm bird sitting for the next 3 weeks, and I fed him meatballs earlier, and you could see the result. You could see there's meatballs everywhere in the background on his beak. I actually took that picture earlier today. He's an African gray parrot. He's awesome. I actually, you know, he was sleeping. Otherwise, I actually was going to bring him in this room and actually, you know, maybe get him to talk. What?
Is he that calm where you can actually just bring him around the house?
I can, yeah. So, you know, he gets in his moods that he doesn't want to be bothered, and if you push the issue, he will bite you and draw blood. But, you know, I get along with him like this. So, you know, maybe Friday. Wednesday, I don't know, but maybe Friday, because it's an hour. We do the shows an hour earlier on Wednesday and Friday. And tomorrow on Patreon, you and I were doing 9 o'clock. And it's interesting because I don't know if you're aware of it. I'm sorry to spring this on you, but on our Patreon page, I gave everybody the choice. Do you want a regular breakfast soup episode tomorrow night? You know, with the VIP questions and all that, or since the debate goes down at the very same time of the show, do you want to watch along?
I'm down for either one of those. I got to make sure I got my video going.
Well, no, I'm home. I'm not at the parents' house for the next couple of Tuesdays, right. So I have a bomb machine here. I mean, I got, you know, I could stream 10 cameras if I want. So I'll have the video streaming with no problem. But we'll do the same setup. We'll put the debate on Discord, and we'll do a watch along with all of our patrons. So,
real quick, I just want to thank everybody in the chat for their kindness. Yeah, I brought up really quickly the thing that we talked about last Tuesday with me, you, and Kev about my friend passing from COVID, from COVID complications, I should say. And thank you for the kindness in the chat. I just wanted to say that because there's a lot of well wishes on that, and thanks.
Okay.
Anyway, Yeah, no, totally looking forward to tomorrow. I think, as far as the debate goes, I know we've both been waiting for it. Now, obviously, the idea that's been floating around is the potential debate between yourself and Kenny Bolin after we see the initial debates with Trump.
And Joey Numbers.
Yes, and Joey Numbers, of course.
Yep.
Yes.
So, and I'm sure tomorrow night, I posted this picture, because The Rock endorsed Biden. Obviously, we're not talking politics tonight, but people want my comment.
Lately, huh?
Well, see, look, this is the thing. I obviously, I know everybody out there doesn't want to get into politics tonight, but I'll say one thing.
Right.
I'm the type of person, I totally respect that Mick Foley despises Trump. Still love the guy. I respect that The Rock wants to support Biden and Kamala Harris. I respect anybody out there who chooses to vote otherwise. But the thing is, he emphasized so much about, peaceful respect and this and that. It's very easy to say it when you're now, worth $100+ million and you have all this other stuff going on. And yes, I'm not defending Trump right now, but and this is why I chose this picture tonight. You see this picture, and now, since you're not on, I could actually, for some reason it's not letting me enlarge anything tonight. But you could see it. He's reading Elizabeth Warren's book.
Yes.
And he actually had someone take a picture of him reading it. So when I think about her, how radical she is, and I think about how radical Kamala Harris is, and I think about the fact that you think of AOC and everybody else in the ear of Joe Biden, he's going to go along with that. I'm like, you could turn around and talk about respect and love and this and that. I'm sorry. If I recall, you show up at gas stations and harass Trump supporters and harass this. And it's on both sides. There's radicals on both sides. But the point is that, there's a lot of people on that side of the fence that are not, love everybody, respect, and this and that.
Right.
No, a lot of them are saying if you vote for Trump, you're a racist. So it's very...
With both sides, DT, and this is something that people aren't really acknowledging, but this is the problem with both sides, is that the extremists on both sides are ruining it for the people that are just part of the party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There are people that do want peaceful protests. There are people that do want to, alleviate racism in this country on both sides. And then there are people that take it to the extreme, and they make everybody else look bad. And I think that that's the problem with the conservatives as well as, the libs, that the extremists are not doing any favors to the people that are still undecided as to who to vote for.
Show me the videos for the last 5 months of The Rock, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, everyone else telling everybody, stop the violence in the streets, stop the burning in the streets, stop ruining your neighborhoods, killing your fellow citizens. Yes, the cops, there's some bad cops out there. And like I said, I don't understand to this day why it should be mandatory. If it's mandatory to wear a mask right now, it should be mandatory to every cop has a body cam on them. If we could spend tens of billions of dollars on free injections, free tests, and free this, it should be mandatory that every cop has a body cam on them.
From what I was reading, the body cam thing is not just state dependent, but it's city dependent.
Yeah. So
some cities will have it, and some cities won't.
So when everything's in turmoil for 6 months, and the only video that you see of The Rock is to the saying to Trump, "Where are you? Where is our leader? Where's this?" But yet none of these people were addressing, calling out all of these anarchists and rioters in the streets. Now you want to do it 3 weeks before Election Day? So I respect him and everybody else. They can vote wherever they want, support whoever they want.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this also has to do with The Rock, and this also has to do with the preconceived notions that The Rock might be going in for a type of office. Do you think that this is a political move?
No.
Or do you think that The Rock, because The Rock is usually a centrist, And if you look at previous elections, while he did voice, his opinion on Obama and stuff like that, for the most part of the years, The Rock hasn't really been a very big political voice. And since there has been the rumors, whether it was joking or real or not, the idea of The Rock getting in any type of political office, do you think that this might be a stepping stone or a way for him to kind of advance?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, look, could he run for office in the future? Absolutely. We've heard that about Oprah. We've heard that about him.
Sure.
We've heard that about a lot of people. I don't take political advice from people that aren't experts in that field. Only The Rock knows if The Rock
Reagan
will.
was an actor and he became the president,
I know, but that's one out of thousands of actors who have done the same thing, so only The Rock knows if he'll go for office in the future. And, until I see an announcement, I don't take anything into account. No,
Okay.
I don't.
I was just curious what your thoughts on it.
But like I said, the fact that you see him reading books like that and supporting, you got to take a step back and think about, all right, we love and we respect each other and this and that, but meanwhile, taxes go up through the roof, and I got into it on Friday. My diner, I don't want to get into it again now, we'll get back to Raw, but the diner that I always go on date night with my fiance, and we haven't gone in 6-7 months, but we were going to get food from them on Grubhub like 2 weeks ago. And I looked, and like a Cobb salad that I usually order with avocado and bacon is now $30. A cheeseburger deluxe is $29. We pulled out one of the paper menus that we had from last year, and before COVID, that same cheeseburger deluxe was $12.95. Now it's $29. So when you shut down all of these restaurants and shut down all these businesses, and people think that they're going to be bailed out and all this other stuff, we all get screwed in the end, because they're the ones that are telling you, okay, you want an order of French fries? No problem, $11. Roast beef in a deli right now, right by my house, roast beef is $19 a pound.
Jeez.
So in the end, like I said, it's easy for the celebrities that have their nest egg, that are financially set for life, that want this and want this. You do that Green New Deal, and then gas becomes $8 a gallon.
Right.
It's not a big deal for them, but for us, we ain't going out, So that's why, honestly, I don't take political advice from athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, even the ones that say, vote for someone that I like. I don't take their advice. I don't tweet bang over it.
But Donald Trump himself was kind of an actor. He was a celeb. I mean, if you really look at Donald Trump's career before politics, he was absolutely a celeb. Didn't he even do a Comedy Central roast too? I
think so. But the thing is, you can't judge everyone with such a broad brush. You see, look, I feel, and I've said this many times before, if you're outraged about something, you're outraged whether everybody is looking at the situation or not. If you're against bullying, and like I said, I hate bringing this person up, and I know you really feel uncomfortable when I bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up again as an example. Hana Kimura. 95% of wrestling fans out there knew nothing about Hana Kimura. When she committed suicide, I saw, some of the saddest stuff out there. And what it was everybody saying, man, this bullying's got to stop. Man, we got to just love each other. Man, we got to stop making fun of each other. Man, we got to just stop basing people on this. Man, we got to stop this. And then I came up with the formula. And sure enough, about 3/4 of those assholes on social media that put people down and they hide it behind jokes and hide it behind, lighthearted stuff and everything. And then until the next suicide happens. And then, we got to be better than this. Oh, we got to, and then, you know, after a week or two, it's back to making fun of AEW fans. It's back to making fun of people on a Jericho cruise ship. It's back to making fun of people doing TikTok videos. It's back to making fun of women doing OnlyFans accounts. It's back to doing it, and then until the next person blows their brains out or ODs on drugs. Man, we got to be better. So I don't take... I look at everything and I'm outraged and look, I'm an asshole too, you know, but these people go to these extremes and...
But there's different classes, dude. There's some people that are completely fake, DT, and we know this. Not even just online. They're just fake people. And everything that they say to your face or everything that they say online is just a reflection of what they think people want to hear so that they will like them. And then there's other people that just are tired.
Yeah.
They're emotionally beaten up, and they just can't handle it anymore, and they pull away.
And let me make this clear, too. I don't care what celebrities tell us to vote for Trump. I make my own decisions based on what I see. And I live in New York, and I see restaurants still, this week, they're allowed to open up 25% capacity. So a pizzeria that has 8 tables in their tiny little pizzeria can only have 2 tables open. Now we're getting cold out. Now people that are surviving just on outdoor dining have to try to figure out how to do these. So there's so much going on. You know, the bottom line is I see with my own eyes what's going on. I see people getting their tires slashed, getting their cars keyed up simply because they have a Trump banner. I see people that are supporters of Trump that, you know, the Karens. The Karens are all over the place. Karens all over my neighborhood. It's terrible on both sides. But at the end of the day, like for me, you know, I want to see, because like I said, the day after the election, you watch that week. Maybe not the next day, but you watch that week how suddenly some of these mandates about masks go away. Oh, restaurants could go to phase 3. This could right now there's a lot of states that want to keep everything so as negative as possible and blame it on our president. And as soon as the election is over, whether he's still president or not, you see how quick things change. So
but here's though, do you think that a lot of these, and I'm not calling people out on this one, but do you think that all of these restaurants that are forcing themselves open, do you think that they're doing that for safety or finances? Because right now we've seen so many different jobs and careers get shut down. There are more people without jobs right now than in the history of our country. And you sit there and you look at the COVID problem, which I think everybody is finally on board with believing that COVID is a real thing. It's not some stupid conspiracy made up by the government. Because we've seen those people. Okay?
Yeah, I don't pay attention to those people.
But we're at a situation now where these companies have to either open up or die.
Dude, in my neck of the woods, on a first level, street level, rent is about $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And you have landlords that have not gotten rent for 6-7 months, and our state has forced them that they can't evict their tenants. I feel bad for all the tenants. I've lost a lot of customers because of what's going on. My point is this: you have a pizzeria or a little restaurant, and your rent is, you know, let's stick with a pizzeria, and your rent is $5,000 a month, and you can't have virtually no business because you depend on mostly in-room dining, and then you try to put a couple of benches in the back of your restaurant instead of your parking lot. Now nobody has any place to park but can still go there. You know, maybe you get 2 months where you got now 25% income coming in, but you know, I've pointed this out many times, and the only reason why we stood on this conversation is because our live viewers has actually gone up in the last 20 minutes. We'll move back on to wrestling.
All right,
we'll move back on to wrestling, but here's just to finish this up. You see all of these businesses that owe $5, $10, $20, $40,000 in rent.
Yeah.
Where are these people going to get the money to pay these landlords for all the rent that they missed for the 7 months? You have all these people getting evicted. So the thing is that all, like New York State, I can only speak for New York State because I live here. All they've done is put a Band-Aid on it. But, and I pointed this out more than anything else, our state has, you know how much they've given a break for people on their utility bills or a break on their property taxes? A big fat goose egg. So
Really?
you own a piece.
Wait. They've given us a break here in PA.
Yeah, no break on property taxes. The only thing that they did is they now allow people to pay their taxes over 12 monthly payments instead of 4. So they've given no breaks. People that actually have a business or own property, they have gotten pretty much, the only break that some people have had is that paycheck protection program. The problem is you keep people on the payroll, but meanwhile you don't have much money coming in, and your landlord still is billing you $3,000 a month for rent, and for 7 months you haven't come up with the rent. Well, where's this money going to come from?
There's no way that these landlords are going to be able to collect on all that. What are they going to do? Take all these people to court? It's
you have no idea. That's why when you hear on the news, and this is not defending Trump, but when you hear on the news that all of these states that are, they say, blue states or whatever, and they're all looking for a bailout, like New York, Chicago, California, Jersey, they're all looking for bailouts. This is what we're talking about. They want to get all this crazy cash into their state so they could bail out all of this. Like I said, you watch what's going to happen 6 months from now. You're going to see, I already have customers that have house insurance with me, and they say, my tenant hasn't given me rent for 7 months. I don't want to be a jerk, but I got to pay my mortgage, I got to pay my taxes, and I need that rent to do that. When can we start evicting people? You're going to see.
That's on the part of the banks. The banks should not be charging these regular prices as if the world is continuing the same way. If they know for a fact that these homes and these landlords are not receiving money from their own tenants. I know you're shaking your head no, because you know for a fact that it's going to keep happening this way. I'm just saying, in a better world, they would fucking acknowledge this.
That's why, like I say, The Rock cutting his promo is nice and everything, and yes, we should love each other and respect each other more, and we need, compassion a hell of a lot more, absolutely. But guess what? Compassion, you call a credit card company right now that you owe $10,000 because you're putting everything on plastic for the last 7 months, and you ask that credit card company, look, let's see what they offer you. You know what they're going to tell you? You have to go past due. You have to go in judgment. Right. It's got to be a write-off, and then we can negotiate down. By that time, your credit score goes from 800 down to 450. So you are, pardon my language, you are fucked no matter what. So that's why you're getting $29 cheeseburger deluxes. That's why you're getting a lot of things. That's why when I see gas prices still under $3, when I see something still, reasonably low, I have to say to myself, okay, we may have an asshole as our president, but if he's gonna get the bills lower and give people more opportunities to get the prices lower, then all right. But if you have someone that says, look, we're gonna just take trillions from the wealthiest people out there, in the history of the United States, tell me any period of time where we have taken trillions and trillions of dollars from rich people and given it to the poorest of the poor. Tell me when that's ever happened. I'm not in favor of these uber rich people, but when you have a company that employs 1,000 people and you make $100 million profit, well, guess what? There's a good chance that person is going to build a bigger business and hire more people. So the idea of just taking that money and then giving it to who? And then guess what? Even if you had all of these, and this is the most important point, you could have all these uber huge companies say, look, you know, you could raise our taxes to 60%. We'll pay it. Well, this or that. Well, guess what? Now Amazon Prime goes from $119 a year to $199 a year. You go to McDonald's, the McDonald's hamburger goes from $2 to $3. You go to this other place, you want to buy a shirt, it goes from $9 to $12. So when these Uber billionaires are forced to pay crazy amounts of taxes or everything, they always pass it down to the people. So there's never going to be a time in our lifetime where we could take this crazy... the only thing that I see could possibly happening, as nuts as this sounds, we owe $20 trillion, and China, we owe trillions of that to China. If it's not cut and dry, but I could see them saying, all right, China, you got to knock off $5 trillion off the money we owe you. It's not that simple. Oh, look at this.
I know, something worked, right?
Look at this. See, everybody, here's the inside joke. We were stalling the show for an hour so we can do video now.
Are we going to start it now?
So now this is the official start of the show, everybody. This is the official start of the show. So let's do it. All right, enough of that. I had no idea he was going to be back on video.
It looks really bad. I got to tweak it. But
it's all right. You tweak. It's all right. It's all right. But look, the bottom line is this. I understand we got some crazy-ass problems in this country and abroad as well. And it's not going to be resolved overnight. It's not going to be any one person. It's not going to be any one president. This is going to be a problem for decades. And the thing is that, you know, the idea that you're going to take crazy amounts of money from the wealthiest, whether it's taxes or something else, and somehow they're going to bail everybody out that owes, you know, that's in debt, that is now poor, almost homeless. And guess what? Everything that we want to buy is now up 30%, up 40%. In the end, we will always pay. Always. It has never been another time. And I've always brought up that woman, Sandra Fluke. Remember when Obama ran for president, that woman from college, that all women should have free birth control. I'm an insurance broker since 1998, since Clinton was president. And when this woman came around and started saying this, it sounded great. Everybody was for it, and they ended up doing it. Me as an insurance broker, we had meetings about it, like, what, you know, this is going to change, and this is going to be a mandatory. But the running joke was, all right, let's see how free it is. And all women got free birth control, and then when the premiums, the health insurance was up for renewal, their monthly premium went up $80 a month. So it wasn't free. Like I said, I could turn around and say, hey, everybody, you know, starting October 1st, you get free fries with your hamburger. But now I raise your hamburger $7. Right. So it's nothing is free. Nothing is free. So, but anyway, welcome, video. Once again, everyone, don't forget, we have the caption contest. If you want to win, you know, a crummy Don Tony ceramic bobblehead, you know, I put the example. That is my caption. You know, you come creative, be a little interactive. If you're enjoying the show, give it one of these. If you don't like the show, seriously, if you don't like the show, give it a thumbs down. Just be active.
Just flip off your actual computer.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Oh, you look even better, man.
Thanks, man. I'm working on it.
I have no idea who came up with this picture. And yes, it's not as cut and dry, because Drew McIntyre took on Big Show the same night when he won the title. But I remember I don't remember who Kofi's first opponent was right after he won the title. But somebody noticed something that I thought everybody out there might find interesting. And I don't know, can I start enlarging these? No, it won't let me enlarge. I don't know why. That's weird. But if you look at it closely, they put side by side Kofi winning the title and Drew McIntyre winning the title. And if you look on the left, the first pay-per-view defense, they believe, was against Dolph Ziggler for Kofi at Stomping Grounds. On the right, Drew McIntyre's first pay-per-view title defense, I believe, was against Dolph Ziggler. Then Kofi took on Randy Orton, 2 pay-per-views, as did Drew McIntyre. And then after this final, this second pay-per-view against Randy Orton, Kofi lost the belt. So people are wondering if the trend is going to continue. And as I posted in the preview today, nobody was reporting it. Honestly, I saw it a mile away. I think I even mentioned it yesterday. But it's almost a guarantee that Drew McIntyre is going to face Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell. And now I'm starting to think Hell in a Cell might actually be the pay-per-view where Randy Orton gets that title. And then what it's going to end up coming down in the annals of history is that Drew McIntyre was the COVID champion. I hate saying it that way.
Let me ask you this, because I think you pointed something else out that maybe you don't even recognize yet. If anything, the similarities, you're right. They're dead on. But instead of that being proof that Drew McIntyre is going to lose the champion this way, isn't this almost more proof that WWE is just recycling storylines because they don't have ideas?
Yeah. You can see it. Look, I found it so cute. The last 24 hours, people comparing, and I'm not trying to insult anybody because I know some are tuning in tonight, but they were comparing Roman Reigns and Jey Uso when Jimmy Uso showed up. They were comparing it to Rocky and Apollo Creed and Dolph Lundgren. Didn't we say that? Didn't we say that was going to be the storyline with Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic and Karrion Kross? I mean, you know, that's what that was. I mean, you know, just because you pause at the no, this is WWE has done Rocky IV several times. It's just, you know, somebody is like saying, "Oh, look, they're copying Rocky IV." They've done that so many times already. When we talked about the Romeo and Juliet storyline with Aaliyah and Murphy, we compared that to Stephanie and Test. Yeah. I mean, this is, and Shane McMahon is Dominik Mysterio is Shane McMahon, and Aaliyah is Stephanie McMahon, and Murphy is sort of Test. You know, and you know, it is what it is. They've recycled a lot of stuff. People are only realizing that now. Wrestling has always recycled stuff.
I think we didn't expect them to recycle something still so fresh. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that Kofi was champion. It's not like they're taking something from 2004 and using it today. They're taking something literally from last year. You know what I mean? So it's still a little fresh. It's a little cheeky, you know?
Yeah. Oh, 808, not so great. You're nuts. Show us how you got late. So for everybody on the audio only aspect, we now have a dual video show. The band is back together. So, you know, we may go slightly longer tonight than we were planning. But, you know, like I said, I have said this for several weeks in a row. And I'll continue saying it. And I'm sorry if this sounds a little creepy. But believe me when I tell you, in WWE's eyes, and the creative team's eyes, in Rey Mysterio's eyes, in Aaliyah's eyes, in Angie's eyes, in everybody's eyes, the reason why they have the entire Mysterio family out there is because Aaliyah is a bombshell. She is maybe not a bombshell, but she is very attractive, and she's 19. Murphy is not 22 years old. You know, Murphy is a little bit older, not that much older, but the point is, this is to be a little bit enticing to the male audience out there to see, you know, this hot girl in this storyline. Does anybody out there, and let's be honest, everyone, because I've been paying very close attention to chats, to social media, anyone out there ever see anybody really saying, man, you know, I can't wait for Aaliyah to put on the tights and actually wrestle in the women's division?
Right.
Anyone, have you seen anybody do that? No. People are just like keeping silent about her and just keep it quiet because privately, you know, they're having mindgasms over it. It's like, I have nothing against the Mysterio family, but once again, why the fuck is Angie sitting on a sofa in the middle of the ring? So this is a storyline that WWE is fully aware. This, like I said, Stephanie, back then, it wasn't, there's a reason why she had the long hair and no makeup and she was wearing very plain clothes, because it made her look younger. It made her look, you see, you know, now this day and age, obviously, you know, it's a little different. But, you know, Aaliyah's not coming out there wearing sweatpants and flats. You know, I mean, come on, I know there's no live fans in attendance, but when she walks down the ring steps, I mean, it's like, because she's got high heels on and everything like that. You got the potted plant named Angie in the middle of the ring. Why is she on TV? So this is all designed, like we said 2 weeks ago, for Murphy and Aaliyah, Romeo and Juliet. That kiss is going to be all over social media. It's you could call it a romance storyline. It's much deeper than that. And I'm amazed at how many people do not see that. We saw it a mile away.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty simple. As soon as you saw the interaction with Buddy Murphy, you knew that they're going to do something with it, you know? And like you said, it's the connection between Preston and Stephanie. It is the Romeo and Juliet storyline, but you know what? It also furthers the Rey Mysterio angle with his family. I like, okay, and I'll have to go on record for this, but I liked the Dominik and Seth storyline. I really did. I think once it was finally finished, and it was finished about a few weeks ago, when it was finally finished, they moved over to the daughter now. And it's almost like, okay, now it's the daughter's turn to become the center spotlight for the Rey Mysterio Seth feud. And I don't know what the ultimate goal is for Rey Mysterio putting his entire family on TV week after week after week. Maybe he's getting ready to retire. Maybe he's trying to introduce his kids to the WWE universe because they're going to wrestle more. Oh, obviously Dominik's going to wrestle. But this is her storyline. And I'm not enjoying her storyline. I'm just not. I don't care that she's going to have her first kiss with a heel. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter to me. The storyline, if anything, it doesn't hold up to the Rey Mysterio. Like, okay, let me give you an example. One of the worst storylines that Rey Mysterio was part of, actually two of the worst storylines Rey Mysterio was part of, is when Eric Bischoff forced him to remove his mask and become part of the Filthy Animals, and the other one was after Eddie Guerrero passed. These two storylines were mecca
and
shit.
Dominic on the pole, or the custody of Dominic.
But that was, well, I mean,
the eyeball. He's been responsible. He's been involved in a lot of caca.
Yeah, but the eyeball was funny, but I wouldn't say it was one of his worst. It was funny, dude. I laughed at the eyeball thing. I know I wasn't supposed to laugh. I was supposed to be horrified. But let's be honest. Him taking the corner of the stair was kind of funny the way he did it. And then Seth acting like he just ripped his eyeball out. That was just some classic bad acting there. It was funny as hell. But as far as the Rey Mysterio lineage goes, Rey Mysterio is known as a legendary wrestler, legendary luchador, legendary champion in some regards. The fact that he's bringing his son in makes perfect sense. But the fact that he's bringing his daughter in through drama, Doesn't make sense. It makes it shit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The difference between them. Like, Dominik has been wrestling via test of fire. Leah is going to get in because she kissed a bad guy.
You know what's stupid tonight, too? When they were in the middle of the ring and Dominik got on the microphone and said that, you know, this was all Seth and he is going to take it out on Seth. And every time he sees Seth, is just, and if you look back at Raw, when Murphy was in the back and then Dominik attacked Murphy, Seth Rollins was right there and Dominik just acted like he didn't even see Seth Rollins. You go back and you watch the promo in the ring when Dominik talks about that this is Seth doing all this stuff. And when Dominik was so infuriated, like, yes, I understand he's angry at Murphy because Murphy is trying to hit on his sister, but Seth is the one that caused all this, and there you got Seth right there, and Dominik just ignores him. I still think that in the end, Dominik, I think, ends up joining Seth Rollins. I think that ends up happening. I think Murphy is going to split from Seth Rollins. There's going to be the Romeo and Juliet stuff, like we said, and there's going to be an episode, mark my words, and it's going to, if you remember all the Stephanie comparisons I said, there's going to be one episode of Raw where Daddy's little girl, Rey Mysterio's daughter, Daddy's little girl, she is going to be dressed up like Jit Joe rags are going to be pulled out all across the globe. You watch. There'll be one episode where she's got all this makeup on and she just is just, you see. Daddy's little girl is no more. You watch. There must be something about her. And maybe she is awesome in the ring. I don't know. But there must be something about her that is just WWE is so infatuated with, because this is not a storyline now where somebody could just go away. Like, after this storyline is over, she doesn't like disappear. This is not like a 3-month contract and once the story is over, she's gone from WWE. Somebody in WWE is really invested in her character, because you could see so many steps in this storyline that involves her. And if it goes from, like we said, sympathy for Murphy, we called that before it happened, sympathy for Murphy, sneaking conversations, Romeo and Juliet, dissension between Dominik and Aaliyah sneaking out and hanging out with Murphy, and then Aaliyah is no longer Daddy's little girl. This keeps going up, so it's got to lead to something. The difference between Stephanie and her is Stephanie was the daughter of the owner of the company. Aaliyah is not. So they must know something or believe that she is going to be a big star. I don't know what her wrestling ability is, but again, take notice how no one, maybe 98% of everybody out there is not saying, wow, I can't wait for her to be in the ring in the women's division. And maybe no, they're all just like sitting there looking at her body, looking at the storyline, and, you know, maybe publicly saying that it sucks, and privately they want to, they want to see more of the sexiness part of it.
Yeah, but WWE's never going to go back to that. We're not going to get those Dawn Marie, Tori Wilson hotel room scene. You know?
Mm-mm. Definitely not, but we will see. But I tell you, I'm very curious to see where it goes. But we open up Raw tonight.
Oh.
Drew McIntyre's in the ring. What they call him, the Legends. Well, they were in the Legends Lounge later on.
Yeah.
And you know what? Cool for Ric Flair. 1 in 600,000 plus odds. Son of a bitch pulls a royal flush. Everyone look up the odds in Texas Hold'em of getting a royal flush. It's like 1 in 640,000. I know it was all scripted, but they're in the ring. Drew McIntyre is acting like he had no idea that they were all going to show up yesterday. And they're all getting a little bit of payback. for Randy Orton for attacking them all. And Randy Orton is on the Titantron, and Randy Orton is basically, and again, here's the seed planted for Hell in a Cell. Randy Orton says, and I wrote the quote down, you think you went through hell with me last night? You've got no idea what hell is. And this is to lead Hell in a Cell. That's all it is. It's to lead Hell in a Cell. And they show Randy Orton walking out of the building. Now, you know he's not going to be done for the night. When they announced that Drew McIntyre felt like giving an opportunity to someone who's never fought him for the title before, my immediate thinking is, okay, Randy Orton's going to show up, interfere in that match, and beat down McIntyre again, and maybe this sets up Hell in a Cell. Well, we get to the end of the recap, people will realize that, no, Randy Orton didn't hit the ring, but Randy Orton would return later on in the night. And by the way, the individuals in the ring, if you didn't see Clash of Champions last night, the individuals in the ring tonight was Ric Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels. As I said last night, no edge.
No edge.
Some people were laughing yesterday. We were talking about that, and some people hated it. You know, take note. Everybody, there was one person missing. Where's Edge? How come Edge wasn't part of this? You know, no Edge. So, it's not the New Horseman, everybody. It's just four.
Oh no!
No.
Horseman?
No. I tell you, the closest to the Horseman you're going to get right now is the Hurt Business. The Hurt Business. If you add one more member and MVP ends up being like the J.J. Dillon, they could be, I would consider them more Four Horsemen than Nation of Domination. They're coming out there dressed in beautiful suits, intimidating people.
Not today. Today they came out in their wrestling gear.
No, they was in the back. They were in catering. They were all wearing suits.
Oh, yeah.
They had the guy sitting.
When he was cutting the promo and stuff, when MVP was cutting the promo, he was wearing his wrestling gear.
Yeah.
Because I was like, no, dude, MVP needs to stay in the suit. Can we all agree on this? MVP needs to stop wearing ring gear. He needs to stop wearing the unitard. He needs to go back to wearing nothing but suits. The guy looks great in a suit. He looks like a manager in a suit. Me and Joe were even talking about this yesterday. He looks like a sleazy car salesman, and it works for him. And he talks like a sleazy car salesman, DT. You know what I mean? It works for him. So stop having him wear the wrestling gear and everything else like that. Nobody wants to see that. I think those days for MVP are, maybe they're not done, but they should definitely be on the back burner at this point, because the guy is a far better manager than he is a wrestler.
Yes. Maybe the storyline progresses. I think Apollo Crews has to join them. I mean, I've been saying it for years about him over-smiling. And the fact that they still are continuing that even today. I made a prediction yesterday that somebody who is not black is going to join the Hurt Business. Maybe it doesn't happen now, but, you know, they've been teasing a little on main event of Mustafa Ali possibly turning. There was no hint of that tonight. But the fact that Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, which yesterday I was complaining, I'm like, why is this guy not on Raw? Finally, he's back. But one of those three are going to join the Hurt Business. Maybe once that happens, maybe that is your new version of the Four Horsemen. And, you know, obviously it'll never be duplicated. But like I said, I tell you, as ridiculous as this may sound for some of the outfits that MVP wears, the suits, Lashley, Shelton, I wish they would post on social media like some of the names of the labels. You know, I think it's so classy. I'm sure there's some people out there who would love to, you know, maybe dress like them.
They used to have, what was it, on WWE.com or WWF.com back in the day? They had like little snippets of like The Rock's wardrobe. they put it in like entertainment or something like that. They've gone through it before.
Yeah.
And you're right. I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, I would be surprised if they did it, because then they have to attach it. But it's a good idea, DT.
Yeah.
You think that all these guys are wearing, $1,000 suits? Maybe people would like to know what the hell they're wearing.
Yeah, I would like to know what they're wearing. Seriously, I would love to know. I mean, I might not be able to afford it, but, who knows?
I think he actually had on the coolest watch ever. I think
Yeah.
And I'm not sure on this, but he had a big black watch with a diamond in it. And this was like back during the Lana angle. But I think he was wearing like a Movado diamond.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, dude, I'm so jealous. I want that watch.
I'm still pissed off, man. When we hung out at big event earlier this year,
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to ask Matt Hardy what was the name of the jacket you wore right before he left WWE, and I met him, hung out over for a little, and I didn't ask him. Still didn't ask him. I always wanted to know the brand of that jacket. I always wanted that jacket. So anyway, so getting back to Raw, we get a rematch. The result is still the same. I was very surprised that WWE let this match go as long as it did. Asuka beats Zelina Vega tonight in a rematch. Almost 9 minutes. Almost 9 minutes. I mean, I'm not complaining. But I don't know if you noticed this. I brought it up yesterday. A lot of people were sending me DMs all throughout the night, especially after their rematch. Zelina Vega, she's shown that she can wrestle much more. She's much better than what has been perceived since she's been on the main roster. But if you look closely, when she's doing offense or even when she's on defense, she's got this look of fright on her face. You go back and you watch it, even when she's hitting moves, she's got this look like, you'll see what I'm talking about. And she was doing it all throughout the match with Asuka tonight. She's hitting moves, she's doing this, and she's got this look on her face of fear. And she's got to get that out of her system.
Even Joe brought up a point yesterday. He said that they gave her a lot. And tonight they repeated that performance with Asuka, with Vega and Asuka. And again, they gave Vega a lot. I agree with you that she's definitely not as bad off as some of us were thinking that she was. But she's not on the same level as Asuka. She has a lot of things to learn in the ring. Confidence. I know how you're trying to say confidence. Confidence wasn't the issue with it. It's something she can't help. She's billed at 5'2". She's probably 4'9". I think I remember seeing on maybe it was OWW or a few other places that she's 120 pounds. She might be 98 pounds like Riho. She's a very, very small person, and her offense does not look. Besides certain impact and top rope moves, most of her offense looks non-offensive. She's too small. You know what I mean? And I know that people work around that with obviously when you look at Rey Mysterio and Big Show, but people didn't believe Rey Mysterio either. And even though she's working with Asuka, it's just difficult for me to look at Vega and go, oh my God, she kicked the hell out of her. Vega's just a badass. Vega can go. See, here's the situation. While Asuka's used to working with smaller Japanese girls from her time in Japan, can you see Zelina Vega versus a Nia Jax? Can you see Zelina Vega versus a Shayna Baszler or a Rhea Ripley? Or Mercedes Martinez even? It doesn't matter how hard she works, she's not going to be able to get over that barricade.
Now some people think they may be turning a babyface.
Well, with the draft coming up, who knows, right?
Yeah. I was just very surprised that the match went 9 minutes today, and then after it's over, Andrade adding the insult to injury. But then Andrade, gets interrupted by Keith Lee, and match didn't even go 3 minutes. Keith Lee dominating that match, and as we said earlier, I don't know where this leaves Andrade right now, but I hope hope we get some good news on Angel Garza. So, it's something that it's a shame. It's a shame because, you could see the storyline. Yeah, you don't want any more of Garza and Andrade versus Street Profits, but, the whole storyline, we called it last Monday with our predictions, that they would get on the mic and say, we don't need Zelina Vega. She's holding us back. We do better without Zelina Vega. And that's exactly where they were going. And, Andrade did that tonight, but it didn't help. You got to look at it in a creative sense. He runs the bad mouth to her and says they don't need her, they're better without her, and he loses in 2.5 minutes.
True, very true.
It's like, look at all, you just wiped away all that credibility that Andrade just cut in the ring. So, so that was it. So now we get that segment where Seth Rollins sees Murphy in the back. Murphy is in his gear. Seth is asking him why you aren't in a suit, but the one I picked out for you. Now, Murphy was supposed to go get dressed, but apparently he never got dressed. Because after Seth grabbed the phone and put the text messages on the screen, which we showed earlier, and the ones that I got to, Murphy was still dressed in his wrestling gear. What happened to him putting on a suit? Never did it. Where did he go? When he walked out, that he was going to put on the suit, and Seth took the phone. What did he do? Go take a shit instead?
Yes.
I mean, he still didn't do anything. I mean, he didn't get dressed or nothing. So, I don't know, man. I mean, we already beat the death where we see this storyline going. But, the split with Seth and Murphy, here's where Murphy is going to sneak a lot of stuff behind Seth's back. And as I said, I used the cookie example before. I'll say it again now. When I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of you out there will say the same, and maybe you as well, Mish. When I was a kid, I was a chunky monkey. I was, always heavy. And my mom would leave this really big white jar of cookies on the table, always filled with Oreo or Chips Ahoy cookies. And that cookie jar could be on the table every day for a week. And I would walk past the table, do my homework, play video games, and would never even pay attention to the cookie jar. The minute my mom would say to me, no cookies, that's when I wanted a cookie. So the more they say, Murphy, no Aaliyah cookies. Aaliyah, no Murphy cookies. That's when they want the cookies.
That's right.
That's what they want. I could go for some cookies right now.
Fist in the cookie jar and see what you can pull out.
Yeah. So now they announced the match of Dominik versus Murphy. Now, before we get to the new women's tag team that they debuted on Raw tonight, Christian 1993, do we think Nia Jax should wear a sports bra? This is actually a pretty good question. Should she wear a sports bra and Goldberg's WCW trunks instead of a bodysuit?
I don't know why she continues with the bodysuit. I really don't. I never thought the bodysuit was flattering.
Yeah, but
if she wore something a little bit more form-fitting, maybe if she wore something that looked a little bit more athletic, I think it would be a better suit for her. But yeah, the single piece, like the Mabel outfit, or Viscera outfit, yeah.
I got to disagree 100%.
Really?
Nia Jax, and I've said this many times before, Nia Jax is one attractive woman. She's heavy, obviously, but she's one attractive woman. You see her on social media, and she posts some of her pictures. I'm being sincere right now.
I mean, she's no Tamina, DT.
Yeah, she's no Tamina, but she's attractive. When you see some of the pictures she poses, she puts out there, you could see that she's attractive. Her gear is designed to do the opposite. Her gear is designed to make her look like 2 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound bag. It's designed to make her look like this huge person. And she is big. You know,
Yeah, but you could do it in different ways, though. Look at like what Legion of Doom did. Legion of Doom were already big guys, and instead they put on football pads with giant spikes on them that made them look even bigger. You can do that in different ways with different kinds of outfits as opposed to just one straight union.
yeah, but she is more about mass and girth in the women's division than, you know, muscles and, you know what I'm saying? Like, they want her to always come off as this huge, big woman, you know? So, you know, I think that's why she has the outfit that she does.
But you recognize what I'm saying.
No, yeah,
don't
no,
you?
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that, look, I've said it before. If there was any reason for Nia Jax to lose some weight, seriously lose some weight, and I'm not trying to be, you know, in any way, you know, body shaming. I'm saying this for a medical reason. She just had both surgeries on her knees. And trust me, I at my peak was 365 pounds. I could tell you without a shadow of a doubt that about 80% of my back pain is gone. I still have bad hip pain, and I'll always have pain till the day I die because of my car accident. But the thing is that two of the things that really helped me losing 75 pounds was my back and my knees. I've never had problems with my knees, but the last couple of years, my knees started to get arthritic, and they started to hurt. And losing the weight, you know, they always say when you decide to lose weight, set small goals, 5 pounds, for example. You go to the supermarket, the next time you go to a supermarket and you go down the baking section, pick up a 5-pound bag of sugar and see how heavy that is. And you realize, as heavy as that is, it's still only a 5-pound bag. So now you picture losing 2 of those, 4 of those, 6 of those. That is a lot of pressure off your knees. And since she is active as a wrestler and we're not, losing that weight will put so much pressure off her knees and her joints, and I think it'll prolong her career. So in no way, shape, or form am I body shaming, but I think there will come a point where she starts getting some substantial weight loss, and I think that would be the reason why. And the funny thing is, she could lose 40 pounds and still be a monster.
Right.
You know?
Well, she's physically tall, too.
Yeah.
It's not like it's just, you know, girth for her. She's physically tall. She's physically imposing.
Yeah. So, getting back to Raw, we had a debut of a new women's tag team. And, you know, look, they'll get a couple of wins, but this is smoke and mirrors. The women's tag team division in WWE is really shoddy right now. I don't like the Iconics, but you could see that WWE wants Peyton Royce to advance as a singles wrestler. But you also split up Sasha Banks and Bayley. And you broke up the Kabuki Warriors because one of the tag partners went back to Japan. Right. So when you realize, as bad as the Iconics were, you have the Kabuki Warriors no more. You have Sasha and Bayley no more. You have the Iconics no more. That is a substantial hit to your women's tag team division. Yes. And the best that they could come up with for the moment, which really made me laugh today, because the draft is in a week and a half. You couldn't wait a week and a half to have Dana Brooke drafted to Raw? You do that a week and a half early? For all we know, a week and a half from now, Mandy Rose may end up going back to SmackDown. Otis could go to Raw.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be hilarious if this tag team literally lasts for 1 week, and next week it's all broken up anyway?
Don't be surprised. By the way, shout out to everybody who's live. Much love. I love that audience keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I know there's other shows out there that are live as well. Again, we're never looking to take away anybody else's baby, but fact that you're hanging out with us, it's very humbling, and we really do appreciate it. We thank you, seriously. Yeah. So Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. Look, what happened with Sonya Deville, nobody could have ever expected that. I hope she's okay.
Well, yeah.
Mentally, I hope she's okay. I've always said since that night, you got to also think about Mandy Rose. She was in that house too.
Right.
And that guy was so obsessed with Sonya Deville. Mandy Rose was Sonya's arch nemesis at the time. Lord knows what that guy would have done to Mandy Rose. So it's traumatic for her as well. But you see what we said for about 9 months now. Without Sonya Deville, what do you have with Mandy Rose? Without Mandy Rose, what do you have with Sonya Deville? You're pretty much left with nothing, and they were tired of the Otis storyline. So you have Mandy Rose teaming with Dana Brooke right now. As usual, Lana eats another pinch. They're feeding her plates of crap because, and now I'm convinced, Miro going to AEW. WWE's decided to, take it a little bit out on Lana.
Oh, he's literally crapping all over the company. Her husband is literally going on TV every week and crapping on the company. Yeah, but
that's petty.
Man, over the years, they are petty.
That's petty.
That stuff irritates them.
I give Lana a lot of credit for eating the plates of crap, and
I do too. But I'm just explaining, why is anybody surprised that Lana's going to be eating crap for the rest of her contract as Miro keeps going back out on TV and making fun of the company?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And yeah, you're saying it's petty, but the McMahons have done work. So
yeah, Dana Brooke and that match was not good. Give credit to Nattie for trying to, help them, but you could see. I mean, I don't like criticizing because I'm not in the ring, but this was even worse than Iconics.
No, you don't have to feel bad about criticizing. The reality is some people are better suited in the ring than others. Some people have more natural ability. Some people are far more educated. Some people are more talented in general. There's nothing that you should ever be worried about saying that somebody's better than somebody else in the ring. Facts are facts.
This was worse than Iconics.
Yeah.
It was not a good match. It was not a good match. That neck bump as well. Did you see? Wasn't it Lana that almost got dumped on her neck?
No.
There was somebody got flipped backwards, and it looked like she landed on the neck. Wasn't it Lana that landed really, really awkwardly? Yeah, it had to have been Lana, because I was like, oh my goodness. Go back and see it. They flipped her backwards, and she almost landed on her neck. I mean, she sold it, but she was fine, but man.
It was close.
It was not a good match, man. Not a good match. Aleister Black, I took notice of this. You go back and you watch his promo in the dark room that he's never going to forget what Kevin Owens did. If you look closely, when Aleister Black lifts the patch, his eye is red, like drunk red or pink eye red. His eye is red. But it's funny if you go back and you watch, because these are things I observe.
I missed that one. I got to see this one.
But, obviously we can't post photos in the chat, but when Aleister Black cut the promo in the dark room, when he took the headband, the bandana off to reveal his eye was red, really red, like irritated red. Go back and watch 5 minutes later when he's in the match with Kevin Owens. Those Mood coffee mugs that you put hot liquid in it and the mug turns red, and if you put cold liquid it turns white. He must have like a Mood
eyeball.
A Mood contact lens, because it was red when he was cutting the promo, and you look back and you look at the match, it was white. I mean, I know the center of the pupil was dark because he had a contact lens, but it's all his white of his eyes. The red was gone. It was gone. I'm like, man, Aleister Black, what eye drops did you use? 2 minutes, wasn't even 2 minutes. He walked out to the ring and there was no red eye anymore.
Do you think he just rubbed his eye really hard?
I think that was pre-recorded much earlier because even if you look, I could rub my eye. I really don't want to do this right now because
don't do it.
I gotta work tomorrow. But really I could rub my eye and it get really red.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me to do that's going to clear it up in 2 minutes.
Right.
You know. So, but anyway, Kevin Owens beats Aleister Black by disqualification. Match was great. I mean, it went on for 13 minutes, and then it was just horrendously stupid. You know, the referee is right next to Aleister Black, and this, you know, for people that didn't see it, Aleister Black is beating up on Kevin Owens, who is sort of tied up on the ropes, and the referee is trying to break them up, and Aleister Black, as they played it off, he inadvertently hit the ref. When you go back and you look at the replay, when they showed it after, he's hitting Kevin Owens, and he literally, if the referee is on this side, he literally does this. And it's like, it's not like he wind it up to hit a punch, like you go like this, and then you want to, and then he accidentally hit the ref. He literally went like this. I'm like, do your YouTube video. Do your YouTube shopping. It was so bad, man.
There's a lot of referee interactions lately. What are your thoughts on that? Because, I mean, we can go with the Mickie James Asuka incident.
Cop-outs. It's WWE cop-outs. We want a bullshit finish? Oh, we'll just have the referee watch.
Even Roman Reigns yesterday bitching at the ref, and Paul Heyman laughing at the ref because the ref was like, what do you do? Or Charlie Robinson was like, what are you doing? And Paul Heyman stops on the outside of the ring and says he was breaking the count to Charlie Robinson, which was hilarious. But there's been a lot more referee interaction.
Yeah.
You just the cop out?
Some of the ref botching is real. But, you know, I'll never forget, someone out there is going to remember it. We had, I think it was a Hell in a Cell match or a cage match. Somebody's going to remember it immediately. And who knows, maybe even Randy Orton might have been in that match too. What was that match that was a couple of years ago where the referee like totally botched the finish, and they turned it into a storyline where the referee just like totally botched it, and you realize looking back on it that instead of they having just some straight up finish, or the most the best they could come up with is, oh, we'll just have the referee botch the count. Or you know what I think it was? It might have been Seth Rollins, and I think it was in like a cage match, and the referee was calling for breaks, or there might have been a pin attempt, and I think the person put their foot on the rope, and the referee stopped the count or something. It was something really, really stupid. And, you know, it feels like WWE, when they just want a bullshit finish, not clean and not clusterfuck, we'll just have the referee, you know, like count to 3 even though it's 2.5. It doesn't happen often, but I think some of that is deliberate on WWE's side because they just not creative.
It seems like a lot lately. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's anything behind it. I thought that there might have been some more interaction with, you know, referees.
Yeah.
Obviously, talk to Joe about it. He knows the value of a referee in a match, and it just
he is a referee.
Right, but I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts were on all of this new referee interaction as of late, because it seems like it's on every show lately and multiple times during this show. So.
Yeah. Somebody brought up the rope break. Yeah, I remember that in the chamber match. There was a rope break. I mean, they have done some stupid things with referees, and sometimes they try to turn it into a storyline. When they if people should notice, when the referee really fucks up, they usually don't replay it. Or the next night, somebody will come out and cut a promo and say, I was robbed because of the referee, and then that's it. They move on.
I don't know. They did that with what was it, Andrade and oh my god, why am I blanking? They did that with in the ring versus the Prophets.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like when they repeat
They
the
showed
finish,
it.
and they showed it. Like I said, there was miscue, but you know they're accepting it. Like when the referee really fucks up, they usually don't replay it right after. The fact that they're doing replays right after, they were pretty much fine with it because they had to go to the finish because Angel Garza got seriously injured.
Right, Garza, thank you.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of 24/7 nonsense today. First, R-Truth, I guess, gets a briefcase, and Tozawa got devoured, and they were going to give R-Truth the black belt, and the next thing you know, Tozawa beats R-Truth. He's the 24/7 champion. Then Drew Gulak beats Tozawa. He's the 24/7 champion. Then R-Truth beats Drew Gulak. He's the 24/7 champion again. Right. And then later on, they have a three-way match, and R-Truth wins anyway. So we had four 24/7. Oh yeah, four 24/7 matches.
You know what? I love the 24/7 thing. I know it's comedic. Nobody takes it very seriously, and R-Truth is such a charismatic guy. But I wish they would do more with it, knowing that all of those segments are pre-taped, pre-recorded. I wish they would do a lot more with it. Go to goofy areas. Do something, outside of the box of wrestling with it. You can keep it comedic, but go further. Like when they were at the beach, that was kind of funny and stuff like that. I like shit like that. I like them going away from the center. I like them being away from being backstage at the event. I like them being on location somewhere else. Because if this belt is going to be kind of considered as a ha-ha, then let's just go all in with it. Let's do more.
Get creative. Get creative. When they first debuted that title, you remember? You and I
hated ninjas. Yeah. I loved the ninjas. I thought that was hilarious. Do more stuff like that. Do the crazy, wacky stuff with the 24/7 title. Maybe not the tag team title. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, no Raw Underground tonight at all. Right. Because of the COVID stuff, they were short-staffed. They didn't have enough bodies to have around the ring to do these segments, and they decided to scrap it entirely for tonight. Mm-hmm. I don't want anybody to think that, because we pointed out that nobody around that ring are wearing masks. And I understand, when people are on TV, they don't want to wear masks because they're part of the show. I get it. But, I don't want anybody to think that a ton of them caught COVID because that's just not true. It was just that they didn't have enough people to fill, around the ring more than anything else. And there were some names notably absent tonight. You think about, what happened with Clash of Champions, no Nia, Shayna versus Riot Squad. Take notice tonight that the Riot Squad weren't even on TV. You would think that the Riot Squad would have been in an interview segment at minimum, but instead they were on, Liv Morgan was on social media all night long, like having online spats with Shayna Baszler. They weren't even part of the TV today. So instead you have Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose saying, we know Riot Squad is next in line, but we're going to challenge the challengers, or we're going to challenge the next in line. And it's just, like I said, there's more going on than people realize. The precaution thing for 15 days is a little bit odd. It's a little bit odd because, and this is what I was going to say before, we've seen Ric Flair out and about getting coffee, doing stuff. You have wrestlers going to stores, buying food, doing stuff. It's not to the building and home, back to the building. They're going to gas stations. They're going to a lot. So when you say, okay, somebody was around someone who caught COVID, so they're being quarantined for 15 days. What about all the strangers that you might, not bump into or get in their face, but, you walk into a store, hey, give me $50 on pump 3. You don't know if somebody right before you walked in there coughed up a lung, with the cash register, or sneezed and it's in the air. I mean, that would be awfully bad timing. My point is that probably almost everybody on the roster has come in contact with someone who may have had it, and they don't even know because they're just strangers crossing paths. So this is something that it's going to be almost impossible. Put it this way, about contact tracing. If WWE thinks that this is their version of contact tracing, it is going to be so incomplete because you just have that, that whole linkage. Okay, you mean to tell me Retribution wasn't around anybody else in the... Well, it was this person. You just start... It's going to be a mess, and storylines are going to get so fucked up because of this. This might be the reason why we're getting so much Mysterio and so much Murphy and Rollins. Because Murphy and Rollins, they may have this setup that they're not going to be around strangers at all. The Mysterio family probably have it set up where they're not going to be pretty much around anybody but themselves. Other people, though, they go out to dinner with their friends, they go get coffee, they do this, they go for lunch, they go for brunch,
Right.
So they're never going to be able to fully keep this under control.
Right.
So Murphy beats Dominik in 7 minutes. Great match. Dominik Mysterio really has not had a bad match yet. But this match, Dominik grabs the kendo stick. And then Aaliyah comes out. Don't do it, Dominik. Don't hit him. Don't do it, Dominik. And because Dominik gets distracted, Murphy gets the win.
That was very Stephanie McMahon, Triple H, Vince McMahon, Armageddon.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had that feel to it. Like, no, don't hit him with the sledgehammer, Triple H. Although Aaliyah didn't turn around and say, no, let me do it.
Yeah, and it's funny too that don't hit him with the Singapore cane, but it's okay for Murphy to blindside Dominik and get the win. It's so sloppy, man. If you actually think about the writing, it's like really, really sloppy. Why even Murphy? If I was Murphy, I would have felt guilty.
Yeah, but your idea is that Murphy's going to turn face. Aaliyah might turn heel.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a Romeo and Juliet. And Romeo and Juliet, you could look at them both ways. Were they baby faces or were they heels?
If you look at Buddy turning face, it doesn't make too much sense.
No.
It really doesn't. But if you look at Aaliyah turning heel, it makes more sense, especially with the match tonight where, she let Buddy win the match. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, the other way around doesn't make sense because then she would have let her brother kick the shit out of Murphy.
You know what this is starting to feel like? That Angie is going to be like the next Martha Hart. Like, Martha Hart, and I talked about it yesterday. I've never in a million years ever think I'd bring up Martha Hart's name 2 nights in a row. But Martha Hart, with those teeth, I mean, you never knew if she was smiling or she was in distress. And you look back, and she was like all distressed because Brett and Owen are feuding with each other. I mean, Angie, she's going to be the new Martha Hart. She's going to be sitting there, and Dominik and Aaliyah are going to turn on each other, and she's going to have the Martha Hart deer in headlights look. Right now, she looks... I mean, I'm not going to reveal my legs. I'm wearing shorts, boxer shorts. I'm not going to lie. I'm comfortable for tonight. I'm not going to show the boxer shorts, but you see her. Go look back at the screenshots when Jerry Lawler's doing the King's Court. She's sitting there. She's got her legs crossed. Everything is prim and proper. She looks like a really finely trimmed potted plant. like a potted plant that the gardener just like everything is perfectly in place. You know, this is made by and this is made by Carlos, and this is made by Rivas. You know, like she's almost like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's not just a potted plant, but she's got to have like the perfect this and she's going to look like a deer in headlights, because she's just going to sit there and Aaliyah and Dominik are going to be going against each other, and she's got no reactionary face. She's going to look concerned, but it's going to, I'm telling you, it's going to be like Martha Hart revisited. It's not a terrible comparison to Martha Hart. Martha Hart, God bless her, the patriarch, her and Stu of the Hart family. I mean, that family is history. But you go look back at that I Quit match that I was talking about yesterday of Brett versus Bob Backlund. And Owen is trying to convince Martha to throw the towel in. And her with her teeth. Who's that motivational speech guy? He's really tall. Tony Robbins. She's got bigger teeth than Tony Robbins. And Owen is trying to convince her to throw the towel in, and she's standing there like...
Yeah, but she's a trophy wife. Don't you get that feeling? Maybe not as much as Martha, but don't you get the feeling that she's a trophy wife?
Yeah, that's Martha Hart was legitimately concerned, but she had no reaction on her face. So you couldn't tell if she was like smiling, concerned, or just writhing in bad hip pain. With Angie, she's got no like character to herself. She's gonna look like a Martha Hart. Seriously, I'm not trying to be a jerk over here.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm just Martha Hart. That is such an out there comparison, but I see your relation to it. Yeah. I don't know. I just kind of look at her as more of a trophy wife at this point. So.
I love Benjamin's quote. Angie looks a lot older than Ray. I laugh because you immediately think Ray with the mask on, but there are some recent photos of Ray without the mask on. There's one really cool one of Ray, Dominik, and Conan. You're right. You know, Rey Mysterio has always had that really baby face to him. Yeah. And if you look at Ray and Angie next to each other, you know, if I was Seth Rollins, I mean, obviously you can't do it because he's wearing the mask. But if I was Seth Rollins in that storyline, if you really want to be a dick, instead of, you know, Ray, you're not the father, I would have turned around and said, Angie, you know, it's been revealed you are the mother of Ray. You know, like, you could have just played that off that she looks like Ray's mother instead of his wife. And that really would have incensed people. But you can't do that because Ray has the mask on.
Right.
Ray married his mom. Angie.
Just coming out of his mom.
Yeah, Angie. Hurt Business doing a lot of trolling backstage. Yep. Telling some, you know, like, look, it's typical high school. The football team sitting at a table, or there's a couple of nerds sitting at the table, so the football team decides to sit at that table. Hey, you're sitting in my seat. Oh, I'm sorry. You move over. You're sitting in my seat still. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll move to this chair. Oh, you're sitting in my seat still. Why do you have my plate of food? Oh, that's high school stuff. Then dropping the cleaner fluid on the floor. Clean it up. So 1 week, the Hurt Business looked like balls of steel. Like, nobody intimidates us. We're tough as leather. We'll go up against Retribution. And this week, they're college assholes. High school pricks. Which is it with the Hurt Business? Are they too cool for school? Badasses? Standing up to Retribution and you kind of like pop and you like, or are they high school pricks? Because that's how they came across tonight. Like high school assholes. I saw that in high school. That's high school crap.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're not baby faces. People think that because they were immediately against Retribution, all of a sudden they turned to baby faces. I'm like, not at all. It's their reasons were selfish to, you know, attack back at Retribution. It wasn't because it was for the good of the company. They weren't trying to defend the WWE. They were trying to save face. Simple as
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
They got punked out and they had to get revenge.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we then get the 6-man tag. Apollo Crews, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali beat Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin.
Right.
Once again, Cedric's not there. Cedric might be the tie in all of this with the Retribution stuff and everything else. I'm not trying to speculate, but take note of that. Mustafa Ali hits the 450 on MVP and gets the win. The storyline's confusing. Apollo Crews loses last night, and then they win in a 6-man tag. So earlier, the Hurt Business is basically like, why do you keep coming back for another ass whooping?
Right.
But they won. You know what I mean? So it's like, if they would have lost against the Hurt Business again, then one of those 3 members could be frustrated with still keep losing, and then you join the Hurt Business. So I don't know where this leaves this storyline, because the 3 baby faces won tonight.
Don't worry, we got 2 weeks and that storyline will be gone anyway.
It could, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, it's going to, I tell you, out of everybody, I haven't thought about the draft all that much yet, but it's going to be pretty funny, and I don't mean this as hilarious funny, but pretty sad if
Really?
Ali gets drafted back to SmackDown.
Oh.
I mean, after everything with the hacker and all that other stuff, and then they moved him to Raw, if they just draft him back to SmackDown after this, I'm telling you, that guy, if he's frustrated, that's going to be even worse. You watch. I would not be surprised. Somebody, that would be funny if we drafted him back to SmackDown. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's draft him back to SmackDown. I'm telling you, I could see people in creative like getting giggly. Like, oh, could you imagine how the internet's going to go batshit? We put Ali back on SmackDown? Yeah, let's do it. Tell me.
I don't even know, though. Do you think a lot of people even care about where Ali goes at this point? He seems like such a non sequitur character. And I'm not sitting there saying that the guy should give up here, but he just doesn't seem like a guy who's really raising any eyebrows. And I don't mean just as the fans, but I mean in the back creatively either.
Yeah, I'm surprised, man. I'm really surprised, because Ricochet, they've given him some opportunity, but it's not consistent. Right. Apollo Crews, you really think about it, they've given Ricochet and Apollo Crews some opportunity. It just hasn't been very consistent. Mustafa Ali, just when you think that the guy, I'm telling you, that injury that got him out of the Elimination Chamber and Kofi took his place, Ali's career has not been the same.
Right.
Ever since that injury, and like I said, I personally, and you might remember this, I said early on when Kofi won that championship, that would be the perfect opportunity to even go as far enough as to turn Ali heel, and Ali gets a little feud with Kofi, because Kofi got that shot because of Ali, and that could have springboarded Ali a little bit, but they never went with it. And honestly, ever since that injury, his WWE career has not been the same. It's a shame. So we see clips throughout the night of the legends playing cards in the back, doing a little Texas Hold'em. They all have red cups, so the Street Profits have to make a cameo. And, this will set up the finish of Raw tonight. We get another vignette of Bianca Belair doing various things. She beat 2 men and a woman in a race. And, I know some people...
This is perfect, right? Is that
You know
what she is?
I understand why people will use the Mr. Perfect comparisons. The reason why I don't, only because Mr. Perfect's stuff was like purposely over the top. You know what I mean? Like,
This is over the top. You don't think that this was purposely over the top? she embarrassed everybody.
Yeah, but you know what? Put us in a race against Joey 924. I guarantee you, we will beat the living shit out of him in a race. We could be 95 years old with you know.
Yeah, she took professional athletes and embarrassed them.
Yeah,
you know, that's very Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they have to do some really over the top stuff with her. Like they have to do some special effects, like when they do a next running race, like they just put it on fast forward where she go, phew, you know, like she wins in like a half a second. Not that drastic, but you know, they got to just really make it over the top. When Mr. Perfect caught his own pass, that was, you know, you can't do that unless you throw it all the way up in the air, straight up.
Yeah, but that wasn't okay. At the time in the 80s when he was doing that, it made sense from a heel standpoint to do that. Bianca Belair isn't doing this in order to establish herself as a heel. Like, oh, see, she's not perfect, but she can do video editing, or she knows somebody that can edit videos in order to make her look better. They're not doing that. They're having a standard side-by-side, and she embarrasses them in real time. You know what I mean? Like,
it's interesting because she's technically being a conceited asshole in her wins, but she's likable, so you don't necessarily think that she's a conceited bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
right? But that's what she wants to be. It's almost like she suffers from Sasha Banks' disease. When Sasha Banks was down in NXT and she was the boss and she came up to WWE, she immediately became the most humble person on the roster. That's where Bianca Belair is. I think people genuinely want to like Bianca Belair, but she's trying to be the boss, you know?
Yeah, if she's going to end up feuding with Asuka at all, she's got to be a little bit more conceited. You know, like there's a difference between confidence and being conceited. She is, you know, she's shown signs of being conceited in the character, but sometimes it's more confidence than being conceited. Maybe they need to be a little bit more heavy in the conceited department. But she's excellent. She's excellent. We get this Retribution package, which, you know, again is a little. They got to fill in some blanks. They need to take this to. I mean, they're not going to rush some of the aspects. If we have moles and someone turns, that'll be designed for November. But you know, still, you know, just to go from one side of the fence to the other in 24 hours. They got contracts. They wrestled. They got this. They unmasked. It's like, wow, that was put on, you know, high speed, you know, on the fast track. But we'll see. I mean, the funny thing is, they could have had, you know, some of them show up around the ringside tonight. Flickering the lights was dopey. It was goofy because, you know, everybody's looking around. We see the Retribution logo, but then we don't see nothing. Nobody shows up. But then again, if you had if you had enough bodies to be in ski masks to show up around ringside tonight, then you could have used a lot of those people in the masks that show up around ringside. Those are the same people that are around the rings for Raw Underground.
Right. Not
storyline wise, but they're just using people from multiple duties, which is smart. You know, so there's a lot of those people that are under the masks are also around the ring. And you'll be surprised how many main roster stars will just throw a mask on and just be, you know, an extra around the ring just for the fuck of it. So, but no Retribution tonight, no Raw Underground tonight. We'll see what happens next week. But that leads to the main event, which we already talked about. Roode makes his return. Dolph Ziggler brings him out, and he fights Drew McIntyre. Not anywhere near their NXT TakeOver match from 2017, but decent enough. Drew McIntyre gets the win. And we're still about 2 minutes before it goes off the air. So you know something else is going to happen. And after the match is over, we see somebody which kind of looked like a janitor wheeling some cleaning materials and had a chair snuck in somehow, and you can't see his face, but we all knew it was Randy Orton. And he passes by a door which the cheesy paper sign that says Legends Lounge, and Big Show and Shawn Michaels and Christian and who am I forgetting? Big Show, Shawn Michaels, Christian, and Ric Flair. They're playing cards, they're drinking, you hear them, and Randy Orton reveals that, you know, takes the head mask off, the scar, reveals that it's himself. He takes the chair, and Randy Orton's one talented motherfucker, because in pitch black, pitch black light, just think about it, in pitch black, he was able to connect and nail everybody. He missed nothing. I mean, he went across that room and beat up Big Show, knocked Ric Flair down. The lights were off. People got mad at me when I said...
It's a little known fact. I don't think you even know this, DT, but Vipers actually have 50% dark vision.
That was crazy. I mean, it immediately flashed me back to when Randy Orton gave the punt to Ric Flair. You know, I thought it was so stupid that the lights went out at the precise moment. Yes, I agree. At Ric Flair's age, you're not going to take a chance and connect, you know, kill the guy, especially with his conditions. But the best you could do is tease that the light goes out at the precise moment, and it wasn't Retribution that did it. There's still no excuse for it. And then once again tonight, Randy Orton cuts the lights, and everybody's beat up. And at one point, it was hilarious because all you hear is the same chair noise like 5 or 6 times. You don't hear glass breaking. You don't hear bowls breaking. You don't hear the poker chips going all over the floor. You don't even hear anybody screaming in pain.
No.
I mean, I think at one point Ric Flair might have said once, like, "Oh God," but there was
that was hilarious.
Oh, it was so bad. Yeah. That was so bad. I mean, they turn on. This is what I say about Carrillo. They all turned into fucking mutes. He turns the lights off, and there was like 6 or 7 chair shots, and not one person going, "Ow, ow." I mean, not like that, but screaming.
Just like that.
Nothing. I mean, Michael Gonzalez says that he had night vision goggles. Even if he had night vision goggles, everybody was getting whaled with chairs and nobody expresses pain. I mean, that was just bad. They turn the light. He turns the lights back on and he's admiring everybody. Everybody's knocked out. Everybody's dead. But nobody's screaming in pain. Like I said, the poker chips, trust me, I have I got to show it to you one day. I got this gigantic poker set because I play Pacino with my fiance's family once in a while. And we use tons of poker chips. And I dropped that son of a bitch on the... What?
Aren't they like legit? Like you got them from Vegas or Atlantic City?
Yeah. I got them custom done a long time ago because I wanted ones that were like penny, nickel, dime, quarter, and everywhere you go it's $1, $5, $10, $20. So I had them custom made, but I dropped that son of a bitch on the floor once. And trust me, when you hear like 200 poker chips fall on the floor, it's a noise that you're like, fuck. So there was no, all it was, go back and listen to it. You can't watch it, but there was like 6 chair shots and there was like nothing. Like you don't hear anything breaking. You heard a little at the very end, but it was such a poorly produced segment.
Right.
I mean, it's just, it reeked of when Randy Orton punted Ric Flair. night vision.
They were just trying to get out of there, man.
And anyway, and if he had night vision goggles, don't you see the infrared light? We would have saw the infrared coming from the goggles.
Yeah, you'd have seen some sort of.
Yeah, you would have saw the infrared. So he had nothing on. He turned the lights off. He was perfect. He connected everything, and everybody turned into a fucking mute. You know, nothing. I mean, Big Show. You know, like nothing. This guy fucking makes noise just for when he lifts his arm. He gets whaled with a chair, and he's laying, and he's all. Very dumb segment. This is supposed to torment Drew McIntyre. And this is going to lead to Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton Hell in a Cell. Now the big question is, and I'm starting to think it, and I'm going to take claim for it. If Randy Orton beats Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell, which I think is a very good possibility, and remember, the Amway Center, the lease is up at the end of October. Hell in a Cell is a week before the lease is up. I think they'll renew it for another month. But if WWE starts having fans come back in November, especially if we have a vaccine, I think we're going to look back at 2020, and Drew McIntyre will always be labeled as the COVID champion. He will have the title reign during the entire time of COVID. Almost the entire. I mean, COVID's going to be around for a couple of years. But right. Drew McIntyre will end up being your COVID champion. I don't know how to react to that. I mean, it's sad.
It's not his fault.
No, and he could always get the title back at WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
You know, but it gets to a point where...
He's been hurt.
Yeah. It gets to a point that you have to also look at the business side and say, look, you know, it's a shame you didn't get to defend it in front of live fans, but we can't put all these storylines and other advancements on hold for an entire year just because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, including Drew's, that we got to take the title off of him. It might work for him to chase the title at going up to WrestleMania. I'm starting to get that feeling that Randy Orton may actually take it at Hell in a Cell.
Could be.
We'll see.
Like we pointed out earlier, not only is it an exact replica of what they did with Kofi, but it also shows that the entire storyline is a rehash because they didn't have any ideas.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, that's the thing also, you know, yes, Bayley versus Nikki Cross, that was just a bump in the road for the Sasha Bayley match that's going to go down. But you see the other women's match not go down, and then you see Retribution has to take 2 weeks off, and then Cedric is gone. You know, you have some storylines and some champions that things are all, you know, are fucked up. So there's some people that you have to go full steam ahead, you know, and bypass that. You can't keep having, you know, big storylines on TV and then people disappear repeatedly. I mean, just think if that would have been some of the bigger matches from yesterday. Somebody just right before the pay-per-view, you know, this is not like a wellness violation where, you know, all right, we'll have the person compete at the pay-per-view and then we'll suspend them the next day. You know, can you imagine if Roman Reigns or Jey Uso or Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre a day or two before the pay-per-view comes across someone who had COVID? I mean, you're taking big storylines and extended storylines and throwing them up in the air because someone else was careless. I'm not saying Retribution was careless or, you know, anybody, you know, that was around someone else that had it.
Well, they got to be extra careful now, especially because Roman's around.
Yeah.
Especially because of Roman. More than anybody else. Not saying that, you know, for anybody else, but it's publicly known that he is compromised. His immune system is compromised. So nobody wants Roman to get COVID. And now that Roman is especially mixed up in the main event storyline, he's literally the last person they want to lose again. We didn't have him at WrestleMania this year. People have already passed that up in their heads, but Roman was supposed to be at Mania. He was not. The last thing WWE wants to do is invest in Roman Reigns again. WrestleMania comes around, and he's not around again.
Right. That's why, even though I can't stand him, but that's why I give credit to people like Corbin and Sheamus and some others who are sequestering themselves, keeping themselves, not quarantined, but they are not going in public. They are not putting themselves around anybody they don't know. And it's not because they're doing it for Roman Reigns. But there are people on the roster who are making some big sacrifices that we'll never know publicly. And again, I can't stand Corbin. We are doing Corbin Demolition Night one day soon. Like I said, Friday I'll put the address up and we'll start building we'll build the bucket up a little bit, and then we'll blow up the cards next year when he wins the championship. But, some of those guys, not everybody, but some of those guys are really, really being careful. And, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. I mean, you got to give credit for some people out there who are really going beyond precautions, But other than that, the only other thing that I wanted to bring up, just your thoughts about it, what you think's going to happen next. I was going to save it for Wednesday, but Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes are now gone from Impact Wrestling. That's it. Contracts are up. They wrote them off TV. So you think there's any chance that RVD shows up in AEW or WWE?
WWE.
You really think so?
I think he'll show up in WWE. I think that he has a decent enough relationship with them, and let's be honest, WWE likes hiring the old timers, some of the vets. RVD is a proven problem, and putting him back in WWE again, maybe they can even have him do matches with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles and get involved with all that, and Sami Zayn. I would like to see RVD in WWE. Okay, let's think about it like this. If he goes to AEW, what's he going to do?
Yeah. Well, I think one thing we could both agree on, whether it's AEW or WWE, Katie Forbes is probably not going to be going with him.
Yeah, but, he'll make the paycheck enough for both of them.
I have nothing against her. Let me just make this clear. I just don't see WWE, allow it. No. And you know what? I don't even see AEW doing that.
You don't?
With Katie Forbes, the stuff that they were doing?
Well, maybe not to the extent of what they were able to get away with on Impact, but I could see AEW playing with that. I can't see WWE doing it, but...
Yeah. Wow, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning, dude.
Yeah, we always tend to go a little long when...
we intentionally added an hour to this because of the video
I'm sorry
stuff.
About the no video crap.
Don't apologize. It's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, it's still a pain in the ass, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I tell you, I appreciate everybody who stuck around. Time flies, when you're having fun. And again, I invite everybody. I know in less than 24 hours is the presidential debate. Yes. So it looks like we will be doing a watch along. We're obviously not going to watch the entire debate and do it during, but maybe we will. We'll see how it goes. I mean, we know the list of topics, so maybe 2 or 3 topics that everybody's most concerned about. Maybe we'll focus on that. But everyone out there, if you are not on Patreon yet, you want to go check it out. Patreon.com/Don Tony. Mish and I will be up there tomorrow night between 9 and 10:30 p.m. doing Breakfast Soup, the regular show. And then I'll be here Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Dynamite, and then Thursday night, what is it, 7:30 now for you? Wrestling Soup?
Yeah, 7:30.
7:30 p.m. Eastern. So everyone, Tuesday night will be Patreon, Wednesday night will be Wednesday Night Dynamite, Thursday night will be Wrestling Soup.
For some reason, when you said, is it 7:30 for you, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, DT, I'm in your time zone.
Yeah.
45, 40. What are you talking about?
No, I meant airtime for Wrestling Soup on Thursday. So, yeah. But, everyone, like I said, if you enjoyed the show, if you could give it a thumbs up before you go. If you didn't enjoy the show, give it a thumbs down before you go. And
flip off the screen.
They got to come out with the middle finger one, too. But
they really should. I think people would actually be more fun if it was a thumbs up or a flip off.
Yeah, I would do that. Thumbs up or thumbs down, or two middle fingers or something. But and don't forget, if you want to take part in the contest for a little fun, all you got to do in the comments section, we'll make it bigger. This is the caption this. All you got to do is caption this photo. Tell me what you think Brandy would be saying in this photo and what Tony Khan would be saying. And like I said, this was my example of it. I actually came up with that. Brandy looks like she just found out on her cell phone that the test came back and it's blue. And Tony Khan giggling, and he's got the red cup. And, maybe Seth Rollins could even come out with the papers and say, Tony, you are the father. So he's got the smoke. He's got the cash. So, Mish, pleasure as always.
Okay, I know you got to go back to that picture for a second.
Yeah.
Is she wearing a shirt that says shirt?
I think so. I'm not sure. I wasn't paying attention to it. I mean, I know he was wearing a shirt, I think, that represents his team. But it does. It looks like a shirt that says shirt.
Brandy is wearing a shirt that says shirt. Like, what kind of meta shit is that?
I don't know, man. You know what? She should come out with a clique and call themselves the Shirt Business.
Oh.
Instead of the Hurt Business, they could call them the Shirt. It didn't say shit.
No,
Brandy Rhodes is not going to wear a shirt that says shit on it. It looks like it says shirt.
She's such next level genius that she actually wears shirts with the word shirt on it. Because you'll never get confused as to what it is.
Just swear to God, I'm telling you, this is real. Before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to go back and look at that video. If she's wearing a shirt that says shirt, I'm going to go on Amazon tomorrow and I'm going to buy a hat that says hat. I'm telling you, I'm going to find every bit of upper body clothing that has the name on it, and I swear to God, I swear on my mother, I'm going to buy a hat that says hat on it, and if it doesn't, I'm going to draw the word hat on it. I'm going to buy gloves that say gloves. I'm going to buy the shirt that says shirt. Seriously, man.
You got to send me a copy of that picture, too.
I'm going to check, man. I don't think it said shirt. Because honestly...
In that photo, if you want to put it up again, it looks like it says shirt. You can see the bottom of the S, HIR, and then her wrist and hand are covering where the T is.
It does look like it says shirt. I mean, but I watched about 5 minutes of the video before. She was like cooking meat and stuff. And I was saying to myself, afterwards, I was saying to myself, if she would have wore a shirt that said shirt, that probably would have been the first thing I said to you. Okay, all right, school actually checked it for us. School checked it for us, and school says, there you go, the shirt says drinking shirt.
Oh.
What does that even mean, drinking shirt?
Shirt so she can spill stuff on it, kind of like the wet T-shirt contest. Blah, blah,
oh, blah,
blah,
okay.
Right. I would have given her points if she was wearing a shirt.
You want to know something, dude? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it. Yeah. In fact, now, because see me, I forget what it's called. I know there's a term for it, but once I have in my head that I got to do something, like I can't even go to sleep until I do it. Like I start something. Before I go to sleep tonight, I'm going to go on Amazon, and if somebody is selling a hat that says hat or a shirt that just says shirt, I am buying it. Huh?
I know you can go to Teespring and all those other places and make your own too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to get it like in time for like Wednesday or something.
Bag, or make a fork that says fork.
Oh man, I'm gonna check. I swear to God tonight. And if I find one that says shirt, I will post on Twitter, you know, the photos, and I will wear it Wednesday. So I was gonna wear my Backlund 2000 shirt tonight, but I forgot to bring it home from the office. So, you know, but well, Mish, have a great night. Thank you for staying up late.
Oh, dude.
My fiance will appreciate the fact that I haven't talked to her since 6 o'clock tonight. Because right before we started the show, I'm like, honey, I'll text you after I'm done with the show. We're only doing 90 minutes tonight, so. But
come on. She knows that ain't real.
Oh, believe me, when I go inside with my phone, there's probably going to be in big capital letters, "Good night" with exclamation points, and that's her way of basically saying, you know, you forgot me.
She didn't give you a thumbs up. Yes, I got it.
But you know what? I could tell her later. You know, we got that $1.17. You know, I forget who gave the $1.17 earlier, but I'm just kidding. But thank you, School, for checking that. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for ruining the joke, dude. Appreciate it. Love it.
Yeah, Mish, I'll talk to you tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Much love.
Okay. Everyone, end up being an awesome show. I mean, they're always awesome. It's always a lot of fun. But this was a great one, and it was cool that he was able to fix his... Look, man, one thing I think you should realize about myself and Mish is that, you know, we're not good liars. I mean, we are pretty straight up with everything that we say. It's very easy. You could come up with 1,000 lame excuses as to why you can't do this or do that or do this. Guy legitimately... I looked at my stuff. He was connected with video. He just, for some reason, something was preventing the video transmission from going into my program. So when we said that early on, it wasn't just an excuse to do the show, you know, just one-sided without video on the other. But I'm glad that that got ironed out. We had some additional convo that we weren't expecting to do. And, yeah, Sam, you know, I said this last week also. You know, when I do breakfast, you know, the main breakfast soup show with him on Patreon, it's a whole different show because our Patreon family, they give us the topics of discussion. Basically, I've been saying this for 3 years. They set the foundation of what's going to be discussed on the shows. And then we take that foundation and we go in all different directions with it. And it leads to conversations you never think you would ever have. With Mondays, it's a little bit more deliberate. Like, we know we're talking about Raw. We know we're talking about a couple of news stories. So we know what we're going to get into. And, you know, that gelling, you know, just the timing and, you know, that's got to obviously build. It's a much different element than what we do on Patreon. So, you know, now since this seems to be a regular show on Mondays and everybody's enjoying it, you know, we'll just build on it and, you know, little things will get tweaked here and there. But I appreciate everybody for hanging out tonight. And it was fun. It's always fun. You know that. I mean, when you see this smile, it's authentic. I'm not good at lying, like I said. So 2020 has been a really shitty year. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. But, you know, if we can all, you know, laugh a little bit. You know, like I said, for some reason on social media, you know, it's frowned upon when you have good things happen. You know, it's amazing. You see it all across the world. It's not just wrestling. It's just every aspect of the world. You know, there's nothing wrong with smiling and laughing and trying to take chicken shit and turning it into chicken salad. And when you are able to turn it into chicken salad, you should never feel guilty for that. You should never feel guilty of trying to do something better for yourselves. And if you got a lot of people putting you down, whether it's to your face or behind your back, simply because you're just trying to better yourself and do things you like and enjoy, you know, you can't let that bog you down. You know, you got to use that as almost like fuel. You know, it's like adding fuel to the fire. I got a lot of haters out there, and he's got a lot of haters, and I know some of you out there got a lot of haters as well. Turn that vibe into something positive. And tonight's show is a good example of that. You know, this is a labor of love. We have fun doing this. I mean, I'm not going to lie. By the time I put the shows online, I'm probably not going to. It's 1:56 a.m. right now. So if I pop an Ambien, I'll probably be able to crash by 2:30 in the morning. So, you know, if I fall asleep by 2:30 or 3 at the latest, it gives me 3 hours sleep. So we'll see. Maybe on my lunch hour tomorrow, I get to sneak an hour's sleep during the day. I get to do that once in a while. But remember, I got this maniac inside, this bird. This bird wakes up at the crack of dawn. Soon as sunlight starts creeping in, and I don't have those blinds that could block out the sunlight. So he's going to be up like 6:30, 7 in the morning. But, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So everybody, much love as always. Have a great night. And if you're part of our Patreon family, you're more than welcome to join us tomorrow night. It's going to be an interesting show. And if not, then join me Wednesday night, right after NXT and AEW. I think they announced Damian Priest and Io Shirai teaming up to take on Gargano and Candice LeRae. I think that match was announced tonight during a commercial break from my neck of the woods. You might have seen it as well. AEW has a couple of matches announced as well. Ricky Starks and Darby Allin, Chris Jericho, and one of the members of Private Party. I can't remember which one it was. I don't think it's Quinn. I think it's the other one. Isaiah Cassidy, I believe it is. You have FTR versus SCU, and Britt Baker is supposed to be in action as well. I think that's all they have announced so far. But yeah, no, it's not going to be an intergender match. You know, the women are going to wrestle the women, and the men are going to wrestle the men. That's how they do it. But that's pretty much it. So, and shout out to Ken, terminated by DQ. So it's all good, man. You know, like I said, I have been saying this since 1997, dude. No bullshit. I will never understand anybody who hates something but yet continues to listen or watch it. When I say I can't stand the Kardashians, you will never see me watching it. I never liked Total Bellas. You'll never see me watching it. I never liked The Real Housewives of Atlanta. You will never see me watch it. 16 and pregnant, I don't care if they're 16. You'll never see me watch it. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't like things, I won't watch it or I won't listen to it. I don't get haters that have been hating me since 1997, yet they still tune in. I don't get people who absolutely despise AEW, but will keep watching it and keep commenting about it and keep bashing it. You know, I mean, we know the reasons why, but I will never understand, especially grown adults. You know, I mean, it's sad. It's sad, but it is what it is, everybody. So, anyway, I'm rambling. Doug, everybody else, have a great night. I'll catch you all again, either Patreon on Tuesday or Wednesday Night Dynamite on Wednesday. So, ciao, everybody. Much love as always. Talk to you soon.